Good morning, students. Myself, CA Vibhavathavan. We'll be starting the Cost and Management Accounting Paper 4 of Intermediate Examination. So welcome you all. I could see many students joining in. Good morning to all of you. Good morning. So we'll be starting with the first session, which is Introduction to Cost and Management Accounting. So this session is going to learn many concepts of cost and cost accounting and what all terms we'll be using throughout the syllabus of cost and management accounting. It's a technical subject, a new subject, and a very interesting one. So you have to be really thorough with the concepts which are different from what you have been learning in, financial accounting or financial management. So this is a different genre of accounting, and you will be learning many such concepts. So let's start Cost and Management Accounting, session 1, right? Okay, so what we would be learning in this first session, introduction, then the objectives of cost and management accounting, scope of cost accounting, relationship of cost and management accounting with other disciplines, with financial accounting, with management accounting, with financial management, users of cost and management accounting. So you must have, understood the users of financial accounting. Here, who are the users of cost and management accounting? Then use of IT in costing, and also now digital costing system, cost objects, responsibility centers, cost classification, and much more. So we'll be understanding all these concepts in this session today. So let's start with the introduction and meaning of some of the important concepts in this cost and management accounting. Then what is cost? We understand cost as the amount of expenditure, all right? So the expenditure, whatever we incur, what if we have the goods and services, what we give in exchange. So that is the cost, the expenditure, which is attributable to a specified article, product, or activity. So whatever you buy a product, you buy an act, you render a service, or you do any activity, whatever is the exchange is the cost. So it can also be to ascertain the cost of a specified thing or activity. So cost is used in many ways. Cost can be used as the expenditure. Cost is also, it construes as ascertainment of cost also. So a lot of cost and costing we have to learn in this session. Costing. Costing is the technique and process of ascertaining cost. All right. So cost is the expenditure and costing is the process how we compute cost, we calculate cost, we ascertain cost. It provides the information that management needs to plan and control the organization's activities. And of course, the costing is required for managerial decision making after all, and for fixation of prices and many other things which you'll be learning. Cost accounting. So cost accounting, as the name suggests, it must be the recording of cost. So it's the recording of cost. It's the proper accounting for cost. We record the income and expenditure on the basis of whatever we are calculating. And then we prepare, the statements and periodical statements and reports as per the, management objectives and as per the requirement of the management. So cost is the expenditure, costing, the technique of ascertaining cost or computation of cost, and cost accounting is the recording of that cost. Cost accountancy. Cost accountancy takes everything from costing and cost accounting. Clear? So cost accountancy is the application of costing and cost accounting principles, methods, and techniques. For basically, cost accountancy is for cost control. See, the main objectives of cost and management accounting. First, ascertainment of cost. All right. So there has to be the cost first. And then through periodical statements and reports and various techniques we use, the second major objective is to cost control. All right. So for cost control, the management requires the information in different forms. So the information is presented to the management in the form of periodical statements and reports, so that, the ultimate objective of continuous cost control is also achieved, right? So that exactly cost accountancy is focused on. So it's used the application of costing and cost accounting principles and techniques for cost control and of course the profitability. It includes the presentation of information derived from managerial decision making. So it's all a nexus. All right. It starts with computation of cost, and it continues to managerial decision making in the forms of statements and reports also. Moving further, management accounting. So in isolation, management accounting is the application of accounting and financial management principles. That is management accounting. So we take accounting plus management. Management means financial management for, to increase the wealth of the shareholders and the stakeholders, whatever stakeholders are in the organization. So management accounting is an integral part of the management function. It's more focused on management. That is management accounting. So if we combine cost accounting and management accounting, it becomes cost management. So it's an application of management accounting concepts, methods of collection, analysis, presentation to provide information to plan, monitor, and control cost. So first we, do our part of cost accounting. Then we combine it with the, methods and the policies and the principles of management accounting to make it a better way of presentation, better increasing the value of the stakeholders, and it becomes cost management. All right. So these are the terms which you need to know when you are learning cost and management accounting. Let's move further. So objectives of cost accounting, ascertainment of cost. Unless you compute the cost, you cannot go further. So ascertainment of cost means computation of cost. So we have different methods and techniques, how we compute the cost, which we'll be learning throughout the syllabus. Determination of selling price and profitability, cost control, cost reduction, assisting management in decision making. So assisting management in decision making, of course, because it's cost and management accounting. So management decision making has to be there, right? So let us understand what it states. Ascertainment of cost, how we do it? We accumulate the cost, we assign the cost, we classify the cost, so to say. And then we ascertain for each cost object, whatever. Let us say the cost object may be a unit or a job or an operation or a service or a department. So anything for which you want to compute the cost is called as cost object. Yeah. If you want to, compute the cost for a product, what is the cost of this product? So product is a cost object for which you have to compute the cost. Determination of selling price. Of course, costing helps in price fixation because you know the total components of cost, what the cost is made up of. So that is done in cost accounting. And then, of course, so it helps you, you get the range of price fixation. You get the range of, how the selling price is to be fixed. So though in a competitive business environment, selling prices are determined by external factors, but cost accounting provides a basis for price fixation because, of course, you have to go over and above the total cost. So cost accounting gives you an idea from where to start, after the costing is done, then, which should be the minimum selling price. So it gives a basis for the fixation of selling price. Cost control, of course, cost control, it ensures that expenditures are in consonance with predetermined set standard and any variation is noted and reported. So cost control, basically, it's a continuous process. Standards are set for each component of cost. Then actual performance, actual cost is measured. And then actual performance is compared with the standards set. So you have the standard set targets for cost. You have to, you don't have to go beyond that standard cost. So if you're going beyond that standard cost, your actual cost is more than the standard set, the predetermined standard set, then of course there is a negative deviation which needs to be reported, which needs to be checked so that, the next cycle, the deviation should be minimum or should be removed. So that is the function of cost control. So how it is done? First of all, the standards are set. Predetermined standards are set before the actual production takes place. Then you measure the actual performance. All right. So whatever basis is the standard set. Let us say we have set the standard for a product passes through 3 activities or 3 processes. We have set the standard for all the 3 processes. Process 1 cost should be 10,000. Process 2, the cost should be 20,000. Process 3, the cost should be 30,000. So when you're measuring the actual performance also should be process wise. How much is the actual cost for process 1? You cannot set the standards process wise but measure the actual performance in total. No, it should be on the same basis as you have set the standards for. All right. So you have to measure the actual performance operation wise only, process wise only then you will come to know how much is the deviation. All right. So that is how it goes. And then you compare the actual with the set standard and analysis of variance and action, and whatever deviations are there, the person responsible, the deviation will be reported to that person responsible, and he's accountable and he's answerable. And it is his objective that in the next cycle the deviation should be minimum. All right. So this is what it is cost control all about. Cost reduction. Now, cost reduction is the permanent reduction in the unit cost. Clear? So it may be defined as achievement of real and permanent reduction in the unit cost of goods manufactured or services rendered without impairing their suitability for the use. So cost is continuously, there is a scope. The cost reduction says that there is a scope to further reduce the cost, but without compromising quality of the product, without compromising the characteristics of the product. The cost should be reduced. All right. And that means there should be it should be a permanent reduction. It should not go back to the original cost in the next cycle. So unit costing, reduction in the unit cost is actually what cost reduction focuses on. No cost is termed as lowest, and every possibility of cost reduction is explored. So what exactly and how we do the cost reductions? Each activity is divided into, value added and non-value added activities. So we know, let us say, a product passes through 10 activities. So we have to identify, we have to analyze which are the value added activities, which activities are actually important to enhance the product, to develop the product, and which activities can be eliminated without compromising the characteristics of the product. So if, let us say, I remove activity 2, it was not required. It's not adding any value to the product. And still the product characteristics are indifferent if I remove or eliminate activity 2. So that means now the total activities are 9. I have eliminated 1. So the non-value added activities in the entire process of the development of the product is removed if it is, not adding any value to the product. So this way, the cost will be reduced. Of course, if you are reducing one activity, the cost which was there as a part of that activity 2 will be reduced, consequently reducing the unit cost of the product. All right. So this is how it goes. So each activity is analyzed and then is segregated into value added and non-value added. All non-value added activities are eliminated without affecting the essential characteristics of the product. So this is done by value chain analysis, which is a very important tool to, identify and analyze and segment the all activities. Then, of course, conducting continuous research and study to know the most optimal way to manufacture a product or render a service. So again, if there are 9 activities, again, a continuous research is going on, how we can further reduce the activities without, of course, compromising the quality of the product. So this is the cost reduction. And of course, assisting management in decision making. So every, whatever we are doing, we're doing costing, cost accounting, or whatever the methods and principles we are using, it's actually to assist management in decision making, for planning, implementing, measuring, controlling. And of course, the ultimate objective of management is to control cost on a continuous basis. Clear? So we have to have a, robust cost and management accounting system in every organization. Only then, we can do continuous cost control. All right. Okay. So let me just have a look who all have joined. Okay. Good morning. A lot of students I'm seeing. Some of the students, very good. And no issues, Prashant. What do you mean by ascertainment? Ascertainment, I explained you, it's computation. We use, see, whatever subject you study, whether you study accounts, whether you study law, whether you study costing, whether you study financial management, there are some terminology which is very, very relevant and specific to a subject. All right. So whenever we are using cost accounting, the term is used ascertainment of cost. Ascertainment means to compute cost, to calculate cost. But we should not use the word calculation of cost. A better way in costing, a costing terminology, what you can say. So a better way of presentation and understanding and writing is ascertainment of cost. It means computation or calculation of cost. All right. So Madhav, I hope you've understood. Good. Good to see so many students joining for the session. All right, so there's a difference between cost control and cost reduction. As I already explained you, see, for cost control, the target is we have to achieve the standard set. The target is we should not go beyond the standard cost, which is set, which is a predetermined cost. Cost reduction does not follow any standards. Cost reduction is an independent exercise, a continuous one, to continuously, finding a scope to lower the cost. There is no minimum cost in cost reduction. Even if you have achieved the, a cost per unit by reducing some activities, by eliminating some non-value added activities, still the research is going on how to further reduce it. Of course, without compromising the characteristics of the product. Clear? So cost control focuses on, and the target of cost control is we have to achieve the standard set. We have to achieve the standard cost. We should not go beyond the standard cost. All right. But cost reduction does not have that predetermined standards. It's a continuous, strive for reduction in the cost, a permanent reduction in the cost, the unit cost. All right. So let us understand what exactly it is. Cost control aims at maintaining the cost in accordance with establishing standards. So for cost control, standards are more important. So they follow the standards. Cost reduction is concerned with reducing cost. It challenges all standards and endeavors to improvise them continuously. They don't follow any, targets. They don't focus on any predetermined standards. Cost control seeks to attain lowest possible cost under existing conditions. All right. Existing conditions mean whatever are the predetermined. So they try to achieve that standard predetermined cost. Cost reduction recognizes no condition is permanent, since a change will result in lower cost. So they cost reduction team, they never think that, okay, now this is the minimum cost. It cannot be reduced further. No, they always think there is always a scope to further reduce the cost, further lower the cost. In case of cost control, emphasis is on past and present. Past means the standard set, and the present means actual. So past is the standard predetermined cost which has been set in the past, and the present is the actual. You have to achieve that. In case of cost reduction is always on present and future. Present is what is the present cost, and we again strive to further reduce it in the future. Cost control is a preventive function. Cost reduction is a corrective function. All right. So this is an important point. Cost control ends when targets are achieved. So you have achieved the standard cost. You didn't go beyond the standard cost. So your targets are achieved. Cost reduction, they have no visible targets, and it's a continuous process. It's an ongoing process. They always strive to further reduce the cost, by again focusing on and research on what is the best way, another optimal way to do that activity or produce that product. So that is cost control and cost reduction, a very important difference and very important topic when we actually do cost and management accounting. So be thorough between these concepts. All right. Okay, so scope of cost accounting, we have to do, students, actually, this module 1, this chapter 1, or the unit 1, as you say, sometimes students don't take it seriously. They say, okay, the theory terms will do, and they're more focused on the numerical part. But the concepts which are underlined in this session, in this unit, are very, very important. These terms, might come in a different way, in an analytical form, and they have very, very, very minute differences between the concept, but the difference still lies. All right. So, in CA syllabus, you cannot think anything which is less important or more important. Everything is taking you to a more concept clarity. Every concept in cost and management accounting, or in every subject of, CA syllabus whatsoever, takes you to, further concept clarity. So don't think here, this is less important, this is more important. Everything is important. Everything has a relevance whenever you, do that numerical part, which you always think is more difficult or more complicated or more technical. No, the concepts which we'll be learning actually, clears the concepts of that numerical part also. So everything should be equally important and everything should be covered in detail. All right. So scope, what all cost accounting has for you: costing, cost accounting, cost analysis, cost comparisons, cost control, cost reports, and statutory compliances. So let us understand. Of course, costing we have understood. It's a technique of ascertainment of cost or computation of cost. The cost ascertainment procedure is governed by some cost accounting. So we'll be using some cost accounting principles and use rules and methods and techniques how we compute the cost. You'll be learning over a period of time in the costing syllabus. Cost accounting, recording of cost. All right. And, consequently, preparation of periodical statements and reports, of course, for cost control and management decision making. Cost analysis are the factors responsible for variance in actual cost from the budgeted cost. So cost analysis, again, it's a continuous process that we compare the actual cost with the budgets or the standard set or the predetermined or the estimated cost. So cost analysis also is a continuous process, and it takes you to the function of cost control. All right. So this also helps in taking better cost management and strategic decisions. Cost comparisons. So again, everything is a continuous process in the cost accounting department. Cost comparisons, how they are their alternative courses of action, such as use of different technology. So they always do cost comparisons. If we use the different technology, then what would be the cost? If we produce this product in a different way, then what would be the cost? If we, produce a different product or service, then what would be the cost? Or if what's the cost last year and what's the cost this year and what would be the cost next year? So intra-product comparison, inter-product comparison, technology comparisons, and whatever has the, whatever effect it would have on the cost, that is all part of cost analysis. So again, it's again a continuous process. Cost control, we have understood it. Cost control, the first step, you have to have a predetermined standards. Then actual performance is measured. Then, budgeted and actual both are compared, and deviations are reported and checked so that it's not repeated in the next cycle. So that is cost control. And cost reports. So, because it's management accounting also as part of the name, the nomenclature, so reporting has to be there. All right. So ultimate function of cost accounting, ultimate means the ultimate goal is the information, whatever costing, cost analysis, cost control, whatever deviations, everything has to be reported to the management. So the information will be presented to the management in the form of some formats, some periodical statements, whatever is, aligns with the objective of the management, whatever is the requirement of the management, that, way the reports are or the information is presented to the management. So of course it helps in planning and control, performance appraisal, and managerial decision making. It helps into the management, to evaluate the performance of the people responsible for their departments or for their centers or for their activities or for their jobs, etc. So it's cost reporting. Again, without reporting, everything is futile. I mean, you cannot check what is the performance. All right. So reporting is always important, way to control and to achieve this, objectives of the management. Statutory compliances, of course, a cost reporting is like internal presentation of information vis-a-vis the requirements of the management. But there are certain statutory compliances also that you have to make certain reports as per the law, as per the statute, as per the cost accounting principles and rules. So maintaining cost accounting rules as per the rules prescribed by the law to maintain cost records. Clear? Relating to utilization of material or labor or other items. So that also, again, we have to follow under cost and management accounting over and above the reports for the management. All right. So this is the scope of cost accounting. Okay. All right. Robust cost. No, it's not robust cost. It's a robust system. Robust system means a very active system, a very integrated system. So robust is not cost. Robust has to be a system. You should have a robust cost and management accounting system that is a more integrated one, an error-free system, which integrates all the functions, which it integrates all the departments, so that reports can be generated. So that is, cost is not robust, system is always robust. All right. Okay. We have to follow the English medium. Okay. All right. So Sanjeet, I'm using very, very simple English to explain you the concepts. So I think the medium we have to choose is English here, because many students may not understand Hindi as well, right? So we'll be using, but I'm using very simple English to explain you the terms. All right, cost reduction. Cost reduction, as I told you, who has asked this? Cost reduction, Prince. Cost reduction, Prince, is a continuous reduction in the unit cost. It's not comparing the actual with the standards set. There is no standard, there is no target. There's an independent team working in always a continuous reduction in the cost per unit. Here of the goods or the service or whatever. So there is always a scope that we can further reduce it, but without compromising the quality of the product. That is cost reduction. All right. It's a permanent reduction in the cost. Not achieving any standards. There are no established standards. There are no established formats, but it's a continuous and independent exercise by the research team, which continuously research that, okay, what is the best way to produce a product so that the cost is minimum and it can further be reduced. All right. So that again is it's an independent exercise of value chain analysis. Okay. In cost control, can we reduce quantity? Of course, cost control is if we are making standards. And if you're making standards, standard is for quality and quantitative both. All right. Preventive and corrective. Mother, preventive means that, preventive means that it should not happen. Corrective means we are further correcting the cost. We are further lowering the cost. So preventive means that we should, standards are set. So it will help you to prevent exceeding the standards. It will prevent you that the cost should not exceed what it should be. All right. If the cost should be 10,000, so cost control will help you that the cost should be 10,000. So it's a preventive action so that cost should not exceed out of proportion. That's why it's called preventive. And cost reduction is corrective. That means we are correcting the cost further. We are further reducing and lowering the cost, which is a permanent reduction. So that is, we are correcting the cost. Clear? We are not achieving any target. We are not achieving what should be, but we are making corrections in the cost to achieve the optimal costing of a product. All right. Cost analysis is comparing the cost. We always make the analysis that, okay, if we use technology B, we are using technology A. If we are using technology B, then what will be the cost? So cost analysis is always cost comparisons. We are making cost comparisons by different permutations and combinations. If I make the product by different technology, if we make the product in a different way, then what will be the cost? So cost comparisons, that is cost analysis. Budgeted cost, of course, we'll be learning budgeted cost. You have a module also on budgeted cost. Budgeted again is part of estimated projected cost. We make budgets. It's a very normal term, a budget. We always make budget. In personal finance also, we always make budget. In costing also, we always make budget. All right. What is the budget for advertising? What is the budget for R&D? So it's all about budgeted cost. We'll be understanding this in detail. Scope and how the given points are related to topic scope. Scope of cost accounting. I mean, what all you will learn under cost accounting, so that encompasses the store. Sham, I'll be explaining you cost object later. Just have wait for a while. Cost reduction means reducing cost below the standard level, ma'am. See, for cost reduction, there are no standards. For cost reduction, we are not achieving any standards. All right. It could be below standard also. Why not? Because it's an independent exercise to further lower the cost. All right. So cost reduction could be a strive to achieve the lowest minimum cost, which of course could be the, because standard cost will be, changed, will be revised. If there's a permanent reduction in the unit cost, and then of course it can be lower than standard cost. All right. Okay, so let us now proceed further. Relationship of cost and management accounting with other disciplines. So let us understand this. All right. Cost accounting, again, it's a quantitative aspect, and management accounting is both qualitative and quantitative aspect. Cost accounting, it's cost of producing a product and providing a service. Management accounting, it provides information to management for planning and control. Cost accounting deals with cost ascertainment. It's basically focused on cost computation, but again, management accounting is more into financial accounting, budgeting. It encompasses many verticals, which the management is, it's of course wider in scope. It touches many verticals beyond cost. It touches budget, it touches accounting, it touches taxation, planning. It's a wider in scope because it's management accounting. So whenever we talk about management, of course, management is concerned with many other things, just, beyond cost. It uses both past and present figures, and management is basically focused on the projections for the future. Clear? So its development is related to industrial revolution. Of course, cost accounting is a traditional concept, and its development is related to the need for modern business world. We always, refine the process. We always revise the process so that, we stick to that and we achieve the modern business world objectives and to keep the pace with the modern world. So that management accounting always strives for. And it helps. So when it merges with cost accounting, it helps cost accounting also to have a new system. The systems are revised. We use a new IT system. We use a new ERP model. So through management accounting, cost accounting is also now, touching different grounds, new grounds in a new way, and a new setup, a new system we follow. It follows certain principles and procedures for recording cost. It does not follow any specific rules. All right. So costing, basically, it's more quantitative. It's based on past standards, and we try to achieve it in the present. Management accounting, both qualitative and quantitative, and it is more focused about projections about the future. Okay, so between financial accounting and cost accounting, financial accounting, you must be knowing the accounts you must have done. So of course, it's about the financial performance, and cost accounting is more for cost control. So computation of cost and then cost control. So in financial accounting, it classifies and records and interprets transactions in monetary terms. And it classifies, in cost accounting, you classify the cost. Clear? It records historical data, and in costing, we use both historical and predetermined. In financial accounting, we just use historical data, what has happened in the last financial year, we just record it. But in cost accounting, we use the standards also, predetermined cost also. The users of financial accounting are shareholders and creditors and financial analysts and governments. And the users of cost accounting basically are internal management, but yes, sometimes regulatory authorities also. Yeah. Financial accounting, as you know, it shows profit or loss, but for cost accounting, it provides the cost details. Clear? Financial statements are usually prepared for a year, for a financial year from April to March. But in cost accounting, there is no fixed term. The statement could be made for a week also, or a fortnight also, or a month also, or 6 months also, as and when what is the requirement of the management. So there is no particular fixed period for which costing is ascertained, or cost reports of statements are made. No, there are no fixed formats, there are no fixed tenure or a fixed period for which you make a cost accounting record. All right. So users of cost and management accounting, again, you will, it's an easy to understand. Of course, the policy makers, the strategic team, the top head of the management, those who formulate the strategies. So though they use cost and management accounting information to, of course, achieve their goals, to position the organization into competitive market environment. They will know how much is the price fixed, how much is the cost, how further we can lower the cost, so that to do lower the price, or to offering whatever policies or whatever discounts or schemes you can offer, so to make your organization more competitive. Of course, costing gives a lot of information to the management to achieve this, to design the organization structure, to get the policy and strategies implemented. Then, of course, the managers, who are actually at the departmental level, to know the cost of a cost object and cost center. So that the managers at the departmental level or at the center level, center means they have different decentralized centers. So they should know what is the cost of a cost object, to know the price for the product, to measure and evaluate performance of responsibility center. So every responsibility center will be learning. We have to have the managers, the person who is responsible for the management center, the responsibility center we call it, to know the profitability, product wise, department wise, customer wise. So all this cost and management accounting gives this information to the managers, to evaluate the strategic options and to make decisions. So the managers of different centers or the departments, they get to know these information through cost accounting only. Of course, it's better to evaluate the performance of their department. It helps in evaluate their own performance. It helps to them to know how they are achieving the management objectives, how the reports have to be made, how to make it better in the next cycle. So this is how the management can use the information. Operational level staff who are on the floor, operational level staff, supervisors, foremen, team leaders who actually are on the floor and they actually work on the product or service, to know the objectives and performance goals, what is expected out of them. Clear? To know product and for service specifications. So, it gives them information, how the product is to be made, which type of raw material to be used, how much is to be used, in which machine this has to be processed. So all this operational information is also given to them. To know the performance parameters, they know what it's expected out of them, how they will be evaluated for their performance appraisal, and to know responsibility center profitability. So if they are working under a departmental manager, so then they are responsible for what? So they will know that they are accountable, they are answerable, they will be evaluated for what? So operational level staff. Employees, of course, they're concerned with the time and attendance and incentives and whatever appraisals will be given to them. All right. Then, of course, external users. External are less than, in financial accounting. Financial accounting is a more rigorous, external regulatory authorities. They are accountable and we have to, answerable to them. But in a cost accounting, it's more internal than external. But yes, external also there to some extent. Like regulatory authorities are concerned with the cost accounting data and information, like for tariff determination, for providing subsidies, they need to have the cost information of the organization, of the products and service which they deal in. Auditors, they conduct audit of financial accounts, but yes, they do cost audit also, and they require information from the cost accounting records and reports and statements. So we have to make the reports and all the cost accounting for the auditors as well. The shareholders, so the management communicates to the shareholders also, about the market share, about the product expansion, the technology they would be integrated, which technology is for product, and is there any, the technology should be updated. So every information, the shareholders also to some extent, they're also concerned about the information which the cost accounting department can provide. Of course, creditors and lenders, because, sometimes the debt is secured against inventories or your debtors. So the complete information and a systematic and classified information on inventories are, they are some use to the lenders or the creditors who give, short-term debt and loan to the organization. So this is about external users. Let us move further. Use of IT in costing. All right, let me just have a look. Cost reduction, okay, difference between standard and budget. We'll be understanding all the differences. Wait for a while. We have the concept of standards and budgets and everything. A lot of things we have to do. So these are the terms which we are, sharing here and covering here. But you will be understanding and you will be learning in detail the standard and the budget, Ashok, all right? So a lot of things to understand in the cost accounting module. So have patience, and over gradually you will understand everything what all you want to ask. The cost reports are and the statutory compliance as per law, of course, Avinash. Difference between cost analysis and cost control. It looks similar. No, it's not similar. See, cost control is a very, very specified function of, objective of cost accounting. It's not similar. Cost control is it's focused on meeting the standards which are set. The actual performance is measured against the standard cost for every component of cost. Cost analysis is cost comparison. All right. It's not achieving the standards. Cost analysis is cost comparison. Let us say the product is, let us say if the product is made with a different technology, then what will be the cost? So we have cost A with technology A. Then if we use a different technology, then what will be the cost? Or what was the cost in the last year of this product and what is the cost this year? So how cost control and cost analysis appear similar to you? Who has asked this question? Subhatra. Beta, they are totally different. Cost control is a major objective of cost accounting. For cost control, we have to have the existing standard set of cost, and then we strive to meet the standard cost. But cost analysis is totally different. Cost analysis is cost comparison. We are not, achieving any target there. I hope you have understood now. All right. Cost center means a responsibility center. We'll be understanding this cost center in today's session only, so don't worry. Creditors and lenders. Madhav, creditors and lenders, again, it's not exactly, you should know this in financial accounting. It's basically part of a financial accounting. Lenders could be who are giving you loan, but creditors are your, business on credit. If you are purchasing anything on credit, those are creditors. What you deal in goods, you understand goods in which the stock, the inventories. So something you are purchasing on credit. If you are purchasing the inventories on credit, those people will be called creditors. But lenders could be who are giving you loan, not exactly the goods. All right. So creditors and lenders. But Nani, when the syllabus will be completed, how the syllabus is completed, please concentrate on what is being taught in the session. All right. So please ask me relevant queries relating to the topic and the session what I'm taking right now. When the syllabus will be completed, again, it's you have the schedule from ICAI, so please follow that. Please ask me relevant queries relating to the topics I'm covering, the unit 1. So use of IT in costing, of course, it's a general thing to understand now. Things are not manual now in organizations. So things have changed to IT. Everything is automated. So that is exactly, IT has made everything very automated and very ease of work is there now. earlier the monotonous work of maintaining the manuals, maintaining every document or every note has to be maintained in manual, in copies, triplicate copy or duplicate copy or quadruplicate copy. So we have to give physically, to all the departments. Earlier, all the copies of any one document has to be physically given to all the departments. But now with IT, things have been automated. So you don't have to maintain the manual slips or manual records or manual stores later. So it's very, very easy to work now. It has become very, otherwise it was very cumbersome earlier. But now, of course, IT, the technology has eased the work, and the process has been very transparent and non-cumbersome now. So the IT has changed the cost and management accounting functions with the introduction of ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning System. So it has become automated and improved. So the new industrial revolution in the form of digital innovation. So now Industry 4.0 is in place, and now we are using the digital also, so IT, and again with digital innovation, the system has really automated, and it has revised and improved, and it's so much ease to work now. Different functional activities they are integrated, and as a consequence, a single entry into the accounting system provides custom-made reports. So just make one entry into the system, and it will generate the reports in whatever form you would like, product-wise or customer-wise or job-wise, or department-wise. So if the manager wants the information will be generated department-wise. If the operational staff wants any information product wise, it can generate. So the use of IT and digital system has improvised a lot. So the reports are generated in such a way that you understand, analysis is so easy now, comparisons are so easy now. You have to have all the past and present data in front of you, and so it's so easy to analyze and make reports, and it's really easy now for the management to take decisions on the basis of the newly improvised, digital reports. So it saves an organization from different set of documents. As I said, reconciliation of, cost and financial accounts. So we have to do, because cost accounts and cost, the set of cost accounting is different, and the set of financial accounting is different, but we have to reconcile. So reconciliation process has become so easy. Earlier it was done manually. So, it's very time consuming job, but through digital and IT, the things have eased a lot. So reconciliation process of both cost and financial accounting becomes simpler and less cumbersome. A move towards paperless environment. This is a big change in the system. Earlier manual, we have to keep the manual copies of all the documents and the notes and the receipts, but now it has become paperless. So bill of material requisition note, all these, labor utilization report we will be understanding in the materials module and labor module. They are no longer required to be prepared in multiple copies. Earlier, we have to maintain the physical copies. Then one copy should go to the purchase department, one copy to stores department, one copy to production department. Now it's not required. The related department can get e-copy from the system. So things have been eased through IT. And of course, since the IT is helping resource procurement and mobilization, now we are shifting to just-in-time approach. Just-in-time means we don't have to stock inventory, otherwise, when the manual system was there, we have to stock the inventories, because, to take a fresh delivery, a fresh purchase of inventory will take time. So we need to stock sufficient quantity of the inventory so that production should not stop. But now through IT and digital system, everything, mobilization, resource mobilization is so easy. We know how much time it's going to take, and the information reaches to the supplier, to all the suppliers, whatever. I mean, in no time. So that time is also saved. And so just in time approach, that means whenever you want an inventory, you just order and it will be get in no time. So now you don't have to overstock the material, overstock the inventory, because buying an inventory and the time you order and till the time you get the delivery, it used to take a lot of time earlier through, all those manual copies to be sent here and there. But now through IT and digital, it takes, no time, and just in time approach you can implement now. each cost center, a cost object is codified. So now, through IT, we have given the codes to different products. Let us say we are dealing in 10 products. So a code is given to all the products, and that coding will be, common to all the departments, and that coding can be accessed by all the departments. So now it's very easy to identify a product, which product we are referring to. If you want to, send the material for product A, so product A will have a code. So all the material will go to that product code. So what all material are required, whatever is required to produce that product, the code is going to help you to arrange and accumulate all the costing, whatever has been used in that product. So coding helps, and through IT, the coding is a big achievement. So the cost object is codified, and all related costs are assigned to the cost object or cost centers using assigned codes. So this automates the cost accumulation and ascertainment process. So we just, accumulate every cost to, let us say the product A code is 01. So all the cost, whatever has been used on 01 code, will be accumulated on its own. So it's very easy to assign, the cost through codes. The cost information can be customized. For example, when an entity manufactures a product services, managers are able to receive information job-wise, batch-wise, process-wise, cost center-wise. So whatever type of information and whatever the way of information you want, this IT system can be generated. So it enables an entity to monitor and analyze each process of manufacturing or service activity to eliminate non-value added activities. So again, this system will analyze what are the activities which are not adding to the value. We can eliminate it, of course, without compromising the quality or the characteristics of the product. All right. Okay, so next we move on to, all right, just-in-time approach. Tanishka, I just explained just-in-time. Just-in-time means whenever you require anything, you just place an order. You don't have to, stock the material or stock it in the stores beforehand. So just in time, whenever you require. Let us say the milk is over. So what you do, you stock the milk, 1 or 2 packets you stock at your home. But you don't stock 20 packets of milk. Why? Because you have the shop nearby, you have the mother dairy nearby, you want the milk, you immediately go and buy. Just in time. Just in time means whenever you have a requirement, you buy the material, all right? Or you buy the product, whatever you want. That is just in time. Opposite to just in time is that you have to stock the material, in your stores, so that to have a new purchase, it takes a lot of time. So you have to stock the material. But now through IT and digital costing system, resource mobilization has been achieved. We can, purchase the quantity of the material, whatever we want, just in time without overstocking the material. It saves capital also. You don't have to invest now. Otherwise, the money is blocked because you have stocked the material in advance. Lot of materials in advance you have stocked. But just in time saves your time. Just in time saves the capital, and it improves the quality of the material also, because you are making a fresh purchase every time you're requiring. Because of resource mobilization, it is now very, very smooth. All right. Harish, what are the items we reconcile between cost and financial accounting? Cost and financial accounting reconciliation, once you will understand the cost accounting record. See, by now you know the financial accounting, all right? You know trading account, profit or loss account, balance sheet, right? So let us do first cost accounting. You haven't done cost accounting records. You do cost accounting first. You will understand how the cost accounting records, are maintained, which we'll be doing, later. We have the session on cost accounting system also. So after that, you will understand how we reconcile. All right. So wait for that while everything you cannot understand everything in the first session. Whatever we are understanding, I'm just giving you an overview how the system works. I'm giving you the overview of the terms you will come across. What are the techniques we will be using? So every technique, every method, you have to do it in detail, and you will do it in detail over a period of time throughout the syllabus. All right. So just wait for a while. Everything cannot be understood in this session, like what to reconcile. We will reconcile first to understand what is cost accounting system, what are the cost accounting records we make. Without that, you will not understand how we reconcile. All right. But without proper knowledge of ERP system makes it more difficult than managing demand hand. See, ERP system now you have, see, again, it's a question. Everything has been automated, Harish. You have to learn it. All right. So the organization, if they're implementing the ERP system, of course, they're giving training to the employees and the managers and the operational staff to use the ERP system, right? So it's not that if the ERP system is implemented and you don't know how to use it. It's the organization responsibility to give you training and, inculcate that skill in you so that you make ERP system. And whenever we're talking about this ERP system, we are talking about large organizations where decentralized departments are there. In a small organization, where is this just one department taking care of everything, ERP system might not be useful or might not be required. All right, because again, in that, the production scale will also not be that much, na? So if a factory is producing 1,000 units, you might not require an ERP system. But a factory where 1 lakh units are produced in 1 month, that factory have to have some departments also. The one department cannot, produce 1 lakh units. So in that organization, there must be departments, different departments. And how to integrate all those different departments, that is done through ERP. So when ERP is implemented, of course, that organization will give training to the employees also. All right. So don't worry about that imparting of skill and training. That is the organizational objective, of course. All right. Resource mobilization means how how the movement of the resource. Resource mobilization means movement of the resource. Let us say I order today, and then the order goes to the supplier. Then the supplier will tell how much time it's going to take, whether the supplier has the quantity also or not. Let us say the supplier also has to produce it, then they will deliver it to us. So the whole process of ordering the quantity of material, then going to the supplier, then getting the delivery from the supplier. The whole process, the whole chain is called resource mobilization. All right. So the IT system, the ERP system makes it helpful and makes it easy to, the mobilization should be smooth. It should not be, it's every is taking a lot of time. It is not resource mobilization. All right. So these are the simple English terms also. Shobha, I cannot explain you in Hindi. We have to use the medium of English, but I'm using very, very simple English here. So, of course, I think you will be able to understand. Let's start digital costing system. Like the conventional cost accounting system, digital system also same. System is the same. The process is same. In the conventional cost accounting also, we collect the data. In digital also, we have to collect the data, but the method will be different. Clear? So in cost accounting system, we collect the data, we classify the data, we account the data to get and process information to make decisions. But the difference is the method of collection. Digital will have its own coding. Digital will have its own format, medium of storage, how the data is stored, how the cost is stored, forms of analysis and reporting. So earlier the manual forms of reporting will be different. Here the digital forms will be different. All right. Those digital forms will go to each and every department, because through ERP, all the departments are integrated. Digital costing links different business functions: production, procurement. Procurement means purchase. Yeah. So production department, procurement department, inventory management, they are all integrated. So one report can be accessed. One report can be seen by all the departments at once. Clear? Earlier, the conventional method, if I'm making the report, it will only go to the management. The other departments may not have access to all the reports. But through digital system, what happens? one report is made, it can be accessed by any department. All the departments are integrated. That's digital costing system. Yeah. And the information is shared with the, it is integrated with suppliers also, customers also, and market also. So now in digital system, it's a nexus. You understand? It's a whole circle. It's a nexus. Whosoever is interested parties of that product, let us say product A. So product A, the information should go to the customers also. What customers require should come to us. Whatever are the requirement of material to produce product A should go to the supplier. Supplier will keep on updating us. Okay, this material has come. If you want, you can place the order. So everything is integrated in digital costing. Clear? All the business functions internally and externally with the suppliers and customers and the market to know the customer preferences. Everything is integrated now. All right. So how it basically provides the data to get information, cost incurred on a cost object. Cost object means if I want to have the, know the cost of a product. So product is an object. A cost object, of course, I'll be explaining in the next slides, but whatever is incurred, but for the timely information, let us say I want to know the cost of product A. So product A is my cost object. So cost object is something for which you want to calculate the cost, for which you want to compute the cost, for which you want to ascertain the cost. That is cost object. Yeah. So whatever cost is incurred on that cost object, everything is provided by the digital costing system. Data on time spent. How much time is spent on that product to make that product? How much data on resource consumption? What all resources are used? What all raw material is used? What are the types of raw materials which are used to this cost object product A? What all, labor is used? What type of labor is used to produce product A? So what all are the resources which are used, for to produce that cost object? Data on current market price of final product and raw material. So this product A, what is the current market price going on? All right. And what is the, price of the raw material which is used to produce this product A? So what is the current price of the raw material also? What is the price going on in the market, and what is the price of this final product also? So it gives data of everything, because everything is integrated, internal, external, everything is integrated through digital costing system. Data on lead time and availability of material. Are the raw material which are used to produce product A, are these raw material available in the market? We get this information from the suppliers, and how much time it is going to take to deliver it to the factory. Let us say it says it will take 15 days. So the updated information is now it will take 15 days. But let us say COVID happens, or, some strike happens, or, earthquake is there, or floods are there. So now the information is updated that it will take 1 month to deliver the raw material. So every information externally, internally will be updated to you. So it's so easy to, function with so much of information. Earlier in traditional system, you don't have the information. You have to call the supplier. Okay, raw material mil jayega, kab tak milega, So earlier we used to call the supplier. We need this raw material. How much time you will take? But now everything is in your system. Every information is updated that this raw material is available. This much time it's going to take. See how much time is being saved. All right. So planning is so efficient now. Management can plan everything so easy now because so much of information is there. All right. Data on product demand and trend. So what is the trend going on for the product? How much are real customers are really interested? What all customers want in this product? So you can improvise the product also. So a lot of information is there through digital costing system now. All right. So of course, all these points I've explained, but you can again read on. So first of all, benefits are ascertainment of cost. So we know with certainty that, okay, this is the cost allocation for the product. Data on time spent on each activity to study and formulate incentive plans. So how much time is being spent by the laborers? All that is the information is available. Helps in material requirement planning and scheduling, the material procurement. Data on source resource consumption can be analyzed. So, how much resources are consumed and how much, what intervals I require the resources. So you can, plan it so that zero wastage is there. Materials are not wasted, materials are not damaged. Because earlier, we used to stock materials in advance. So material gets damaged also. Helps to identify, eliminate non-value added activities. Again, it is part of cost reduction. Data on resource consumption is helpful to setting the standards and measurement of variances on real-time basis. So again, you understand resource consumption, how much resources will be consumed, what all resources are consumed. So it's helpful to set the standards. So, all right, material cost should be 10,000. It should not exceed 10,000. The quantity of material should be 100 kgs only. It should not go beyond. So this helps to set the standard for us. What should be the cost? What should be the quantity? It helps in measuring the variances. It helps in measuring the actual performance with the standard. Data on current market prices of material and consumables helps to estimate costing, setting standards. Again, mark to market. So the current market prices, what all the market prices are going on. So we can increase and decrease and, we can further reduce the cost to achieve the, market prices. Then extrapolation of data on customer behavior towards the products to predict the market demand. So we have the information on customer behavior also. What are their preferences, what they like, what they don't like. So, we can predict the market demand and we can improvise the product also with all this information. A better analysis of cost behavior improves the cost benefit analysis, equipping the management for decision making. Cost benefit. So what all cost we have incurred and what benefit we are getting out of it. How much input, how much output, and how much, sales have improved. So cost, benefit, and input, output analysis is also so important, and we get it so easy through the digital costing system. All right. I hope you must have got an idea what IT system and digital costing system helps now organizations. So installation of costing system. Before that, I just have a look. All right. Yes, you can. You will, I think it's there on the, you can access the lectures later also. It will be available. Vivek, it's not about the weightage. Again, I say to all the students, and again, say to also few, don't see in CA, you please do not say, you please do not think this is less important or though that is less important. The unit 1, which I'm explaining to you, are all concepts. These concepts, clarity is going to help you in the later units or modules. Clear? So if the concepts are not clear, you might struggle in the later units. So these are the concepts which you should know, the basics of cost and management accounting. All right. So don't ask how much this is weightage, this is less important or more important. Please do not ask such questions and do not think about it. Every unit, every term is important in CA for whatever subject you are studying. Mark my word. Do not think this is less important, we should leave this. No, everything is important. All right. So have a systematic study, and these things are all the terms, whatever I'm explaining you, the terms, they are relevant. All are relevant, all are important, all will take you to a better understanding of the subject. All right. Installation of costing system. So the costing system, what all costing system you have to implement, all right? You want to implement a basic costing system, you have to implement an advanced costing system. It all depends upon the requirement of your organization. How much is the scale of operations? What is the objective of the organization? What is the management requirement? Accordingly, you should establish a costing system in your organization, all right? So first is objective, of course. What is the objective of your organization? What type of costing system you want? All right. Whether it is being introduced for fixing prices or for establishing a system of cost control. So either you just need a system, okay, the cost should be calculated and price should be fixed, or you want a certain advanced system that is going to help you for cost control also. So which type of system you want? Nature of business of our industry, of course. So what type of a business are you? Product industry or a service industry, or the product goes through many processes, or the product passes only through one process? So what is the type of operations? What is the type of the industry? All right. Are you a hospital industry or a transport industry or a manufacturing industry? So type of industry also helps that what type of costing system you want. Clear? So the industry in which business is operating according to its cost information requirement, cost accounting methods are followed. For example, oil refinery, they have process-wise cost accounts to find out the cost incurred on a particular process, crude refinement process. So in oil industry, let us say a sugar industry also passes through many processes. Paper industry, it also passes through many processes. So you have to understand which type of costing you require, what is the type of industry you are into. Accordingly, costing system will be installed. Organizational hierarchy, what type of reports you require. Okay, in a small organization, you have just the management, it's taking care of everything. So your system will very minimalized. All right, a very simple system. But you have a large organization, you have different departments, you have top management, you have middle management, you have operational level management, you have lower staff. So accordingly, the costing system should be established. So it depends what are the stages, what is the hierarchy of the management, what all levels of management are there. Yeah. Knowing the product, of course, costing system majorly depends upon the type of product. The product which has byproduct, let us say paper industry or a sugar industry, byproducts also, byproduct भी निकलते हैं ना, sugar industry में molasses निकलते हैं, paper industry में pulp निकलता है. So you have many byproducts also coming in the process. All right. So if you have a byproduct, then byproduct costing also has to be done. So accordingly, that particular type of costing system should be there, so that the costing of byproduct also is given. Knowing the production process, again, if you have lot of processes before the final product is produced, then you have to have that costing system which gives you the costing for each process, each operation. So if the product passes through 5 processes, this costing system should give you the costing for each and every process, each and every operation. All right. So without the complete knowledge of production process, you cannot establish a system. Cost apportionment can be done on the most appropriate and scientific basis if cost accounting can identify degree of effort or resources consumed. All right. Information synchronization. Yes, information needs of various departments should also be taken into account. For example, accounts department need to submit monthly stock statement to a lender bank, quantity-wise stock details at the time of filing returns. So what type of information you will be requiring over the period of time? Accordingly, you have to install that system which will give you those type of reports, those type of statements which you require. Clear? So accordingly, costing system should be implemented. Method of maintenance of cost records. So the organization must determine which cost and financial accounts should be interlocked. So you will be understanding when we'll be doing cost accounting system, whether you want one set of accounts, cost and financial integrated into one accounts only, or you want different cost account and different financial. So accordingly, costing system should be there. Clear? So the management has to decide whether you want one system or you want different systems. Statutory compliances and audit, what all, compliances and audit reports are there. Accordingly, the costing system should be implemented. That's going to give you that reports which are required by the law. So the reports which are required by the law, your system should generate that report. So you should know what type of reports you will require, so that accordingly those formats and those reports should be inbuilt in the system. Clear? Information attributes. Information generated from cost accounting system should have all the attributes of useful information. It should be complete, accurate, timely, and relevant. Management information system. So MIS, which we call as management information system, which gives you the information which should be accurate, which should be timely, all right, which should be relevant. So all types in whatever formats or reports you want. All right. So accordingly, so all these things is going to help you what type of costing system you should have in your organization. Clear? Coming to cost objects. After cost objects, we'll take a 5-7 minutes of break, and then we will, resume. So after cost objects, we'll take a break. Cost object. Now, what is cost object? So you were saying what are cost objects. So see, we are understanding cost object is for something for which we want the costing. If I'm manufacturing product A, I want to know the cost of product A. The product A is my cost object. Let us say I am dealing in phone, the example of cost object. I am dealing in phone. So what is the cost of a smartphone? I am dealing in tablet. So what is the cost of a tablet? So tablet is a cost object. I want to deal in a car. So what is the cost of that car? Car is the cost object. So for whatever I am dealing in, for what I want to know the cost of is the cost object. It could be a product, it could be a service. An airline flight from Delhi to Mumbai. So the cost of the flight, we want to know the cost of a flight. So that flight from Delhi to Mumbai is a cost object. Clear? So something for which you want to know the cost. You go to the market, you want to buy a toy. Toy is a cost object for which you want to know the cost. All right. So you want to know the service of a CA for filing the return. So that filing of return is a cost object. You want to know how much the CA charges to file a return. So everything for which you want to know the cost is the cost object, for which you have to compute the cost, right? Utility, bill payment facility, etc. Metro rail project, road project. So if I want to have the construction of a road, so how much cost will be incurred to construct that road? That construction of road is a cost object. Activity. So whatever activity for which you are charging, again, it's a cost object. Process. Any process which undergoes a process. Again, every process is a cost object for which you have to calculate the cost. Department. I want to know the cost of the production department. I want to know the cost of safety department. I want to know the cost of transport department. What all cost incurred by the transport department. Transport department is the cost object. So for whatever you want to calculate the cost for is the cost object. All right. So cost object is anything for which a separate measurement of cost is required. Cost object may be a product, a service, a project, a customer, a brand category, an activity, a department, or a program. For whatever you want to know the cost of is a cost object. And for that cost object, you calculate the cost, you ascertain the cost. Is it clear? So here we'll be taking a 5-7 minutes break and then we'll resume. Let me see what all you have. Who prepare the cost statement in management. They all audit is part of cost and management accounting. So there are managerial staff also who takes care to, generate the reports to the management. All right. So here we'll be taking a break of 5-7 minutes and we'll resume after that. All right, students, welcome back to the after break session. All right. Madhav, billets or what is billets or ingots? Madhav, although you have asked, so मैं आपको बता देती हूँ billets and ingots, but आप cost accounting से relevant queries पूछिए. Billets and ingots is a technical term, engineering term है. Billets and ingots are basically which are used to make the steel shaft for the components of the machinery. So billets are for small, and the ingots are for the big the components of the machinery. But please add relevant cost accounting queries only. How the customer is the cost object. Why not customer? Let us say I'm the consultant and I have customer one who has the queries. So what I'm charging for this particular customer? Or let us say I'm giving the parlor service. So the customer who has asked I have four customers. Customer A, the customer A is asking for the parlor service. So that customer A is the cost object for me. What all services I'm giving to customer A, the customer A is my cost object. So anything could be a cost object for which you want to compute the cost and from whom you want to charge. All right. So for what you want to compute and from whom you want to charge, everything can be a cost object. Explain the meaning of cost object remains in nucleus of cost classification. Tanishka, if you will keep on asking each and every meaning of every line of your study material, then we won't be able to complete the session. But okay, if you have asked, see, nucleus is what? The middle point. So once to calculate the cost, what is important? The cost object. So the cost object lies between. See, this is the cost object. So it is nucleus. Then you have to compute the cost. So that is the meaning, that cost object is the nucleus of cost classification. What is the cost object? Accordingly, you will calculate the cost. Accordingly, you will make classification of the cost. Accordingly, you will know fixed cost will be more or variable will be more, what type of cost it will require. So that is what it means. That cost object should be selected first. All right. Let's move on quickly. Cost unit. Cost unit means whatever is the cost object, उस cost object को आप किस तरह से cost denote करेंगे. All right. So I'm using now, some terms of in Hindi as well, so that you understand. Cost unit means if it's an automobile, the unit will be car. So, let us say if I'm into car, so per car, what is the cost? If I'm manufacturing bicycle, the cost unit will be per bicycle. If I'm dealing in milk industry, so the cost unit will be per liter. If I'm using, the bricks, so the cost unit will be 1 brick, or, for 100 bricks. So the cost unit is which is used to compute the cost. All right. It's a unit of product or service. So cement is per ton or per bag. The cost is per ton or per bag. In chemicals, it's per liter or per gallon or per kilogram. In power industry, the unit is kilowatt hour. All right. Like in electricity, it's per unit of consumption. What is the cost per unit? So per unit is for which you derive the cost. All right. Transport is per passenger or per kilometer. In hospital, it is per bed or per patient. So the unit in which the cost is derived or signified, it is called as cost unit. Cost driver. Now, what is cost driver? Cost driver is because with the factor which is responsible to compute the cost. Clear? So cost driver is a factor or variable which affect level of cost, because of which cost is incurred. All right. So number of machine setups, जितना भी machine setup करोगे उसकी वजह से cost आएगी. So machine setup is the cost driver. Number of purchase orders. Cost of purchase is because a purchase order is there. All right. जितना purchase order होगा उतना cost of material ज्यादा होगा. So purchase order is the cost driver. Product inspection, or let us say कि I have made a doctor. A doctor comes for consultancy. तो डॉक्टर एक राउंड लगाता है, उसका कॉस्ट है 1000 पर राउंड ऑफ डॉक्टर. डॉक्टर जितना राउंड लगाएगा, लेट अस से कि डॉक्टर एक दिन में 3 राउंड आता है लगाने पेशेंट को देखने, पर राउंड का चार्ज है 1000. So that 1000 is the cost because the doctor is coming on round. So doctor coming on round is a cost driver. Because of what cost is, cost is created or cost is incurred. So the factor because of which the cost is incurred is cost driver. Okay. So that exactly what cost driver means. Now coming to responsibility centers. So you are asking what are centers. So these are the centers. Responsibility centers means, see, in a large organization. Now in small organization, what happens? Only there is one department. Very few people are required to run the organization. But when the organization expands in large organizations, you can one person or few persons cannot manage the entire organization. You need to have different departments. So when the organization expands, you have to make different departments. So when different departments are there, you have to, place a manager who will run its own department. So I've made production department, I've made purchase department, I've made finance department. So all these departments will have the manager also. Production manager, finance manager. So every department manager is responsible for his own department. So for him, that department is his responsibility center. Purchase department is responsible for his purchase department. So purchase department becomes his responsibility center. He will be answerable to the management for everything that is done in the purchase department. Purchase department का जितना भी cost होगा, जितना भी उसका खर्चा होगा, वो सब purchase department will be answerable. Here, so there are 4 types of responsibility centers: cost center, revenue center, profit center, and investment center. All right, cost center, revenue center, profit center, and investment center. Cost centers क्या होते हैं? Cost centers होते हैं जहां पे only cost is incurred. Clear? So there are 2 types of cost centers: standard cost center and discretionary cost center. So cost center होता है where only cost is incurred. No profit, no sales happen there. Only cost. Purchase department is only a cost center. Purchase department is only cost center. Only cost is incurred there. Cost of purchases. No sales is done by purchase department. All right. So cost center is where only costs are incurred. There are 2 types: standard cost center and discretionary cost center. So standard cost center means where input and output you can measure. Input is specified and output you can measure. So 10 kgs of raw material, if it is input, तो उसमें से 1 unit of product बनेगा. So standard cost center means the production department, you can say as standard cost center. The production department is an example of standard cost center. So in production department, 10 kgs of raw material will go and 1 unit of output will be produced. So input is specified 10 kgs and output is also measured. 1 unit should be produced out of 10 kgs. Discretionary cost center is advertising is the best example for discretionary cost center. Advertising सिर्फ cost होता है advertising में. But let us say you have incurred 1 lakh of advertisement expenditure. But उससे आपको कैसे पता चलेगा कितना sales हुआ है उस वजह से? So discretionary cost center means where input and output cannot be compared. So input cost तो मिल गया, advertising 10 lakh rupees लग गया. बट आउटपुट कैसे मेजर करोगे? कितना सेल्स हुआ वो मेजर नहीं कर सकते आप. ऑल राइट. सो डिस्क्रिशनरी कॉस्ट सेंटर मीन्स वेयर इनपुट एंड आउटपुट कॉस्ट कैन नॉट बी मेजर्ड. बट स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्ट सेंटर मीन्स वेयर इनपुट इज डिफाइंड एंड आउटपुट कैन बी मेजर्ड अगेंस्ट इनपुट. But in discretionary cost center, you cannot measure output with input. Clear? Revenue center. Revenue center, the sales department is the best example of revenue center. So sales department में सिर्फ sales होती है. Only revenue is generated for the organization. So cost center is where only costs are incurred. Revenue center is where only sales are generated. Clear? But हाँ थोड़ा बहुत expense sales department में भी होता है. But majorly तो sale target होता है. The objective of sales department is to generate sales. Is to generate revenue. थोड़ा बहुत कमीशन का खर्चा आता है बट मेजरली सेल्स रेवेन्यू जनरेट होता है, रेवेन्यू सेंटर बोलते हैं, ठीक है। सो जो सेल्स डिपार्टमेंट का जो हेड है, जो सेल्स मैनेजर है, डिपार्टमेंट हेड है, ही इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल टू फॉर ऑल द सेल टारगेट्स विच ही हैज टू अचीव। सो रेवेन्यू सेंटर। Profit center. Profit center, the best example for profit center is the branches. So every organization must be having some branches. So if I have a branch somewhere, my head office is in Noida and the branch is in, let us say, Agra. So that branch will have profit center. Branch is a profit center. उनका सेल्स भी होगा, उनका कॉस्ट भी होगा और वो प्रॉफिट भी देंगे. So the profit center is where the cost also will be incurred, sales will also be there, and they will generate profit also for the organization's head office. Clear? So profit center, best example is branches. Investment center. Investment center में सब कुछ होता है. Cost will also be incurred, revenue will also be generated, profit will also be generated, plus they are also allowed to do investments on their own. प्रॉफिट सेंटर में ब्रांचेस इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं करती हैं, इन्वेस्टमेंट सिर्फ हेड ऑफिस करता है, वो सिर्फ ब्रांच को चलाते हैं, प्रॉफिट देते हैं. बट इन्वेस्टमेंट सेंटर्स डज एवरीथिंग. सो द बेस्ट एग्जांपल आर द पब्लिक सेक्टर कंपनीज. दे फंक्शन अंडर द गवर्नमेंट. ऑलराइट. So public sector companies, they function under central government and state government, but they generate profit also and they do investments also on their own. Clear? So these are investment centers. So there are 4 centers. Cost center, only cost is incurred. Then you have the revenue center, the sales department, only revenue is generated. Profit center, the branches of any organization where profit is generated. Investment center, all in one, plus investment also they do. And return on investment is their target. So they are answerable to have the maximum return on investment what they have made. Clear? So these are the responsibility centers. Okay, now we have the classification of costs. So these classification you will come across throughout the syllabus of cost accounting. Okay, so let us see. By nature of or element, direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. See, direct material is something which is visible in a product. All right. If it is a pen may, what is the raw material? Direct material is what is visible in the product, which we can directly identify to the product. That is direct cost. जो भी कॉस्ट एक प्रोडक्ट में हमको क्लियरली मेजर कर सकते हैं, एक्यूरेटली मेजर कर सकते हैं, वो डायरेक्ट कॉस्ट होती है. तो डायरेक्ट कॉस्ट इज डायरेक्ट मटेरियल, डायरेक्ट लेबर एंड डायरेक्ट एक्सपेंस. ठीक है. रॉ मटेरियल है, कपड़े हैं, क्लोथिंग है, क्लोथिंग का डायरेक्ट मटेरियल क्या होगा? क्लॉथ. टेबल का डायरेक्ट मटेरियल क्या होगा? वुड. ऑलराइट. सो डायरेक्ट मटेरियल वो होता है जो हर प्रोडक्ट में आप डायरेक्टली मेजर कर सकते हो. ऐसे डायरेक्ट लेबर. Direct labor is the labor who works directly on the product. All right. So the laborers who are making the table, all right, who are manufacturing the table, that labor is direct labor. Direct expenses, expenses which are incurred only for the product, directly on the product. The best example is I have hired a special machinery for that product. वो सिर्फ प्रोडक्ट को बनाने के लिए ही मशीन आई है. उसका जो रेंटल हायर चार्ज होगा वो डायरेक्ट एक्सपेंस होगा, बिकॉज दैट मशीन इज यूज्ड ओनली फॉर दैट प्रोडक्ट. सो द हायर चार्जेस स्पेशली फॉर दैट प्रोडक्ट is the direct expenses. Cost of defective work, so you will understand when we'll do the cost sheet later. So nature of element, direct material, direct labor and direct expenses, these are the cost which are directly identifiable, which can be directly measured on the product, is called direct cost. Indirect, indirect मतलब जो लगता है but वो वैसे measure नहीं कर सकते. Nuts and bolts. So table, there must be nuts and bolts on the table, but can you measure? एक छोटे छोटे nuts and bolts कब तक आप calculate करते रहोगे? और तो जो चीजें छोटी छोटी हैं वो you cannot exactly measure और economically आप measure नहीं कर सकते. That will be indirect, which are used on the product but you cannot measure economically. छोटे छोटे nut bolts आप थोड़ी ना calculate करते रहोगे. So it's like indirect. Indirect labor. Indirect labor means those are the helpers or the foreman or the supervisor. जो प्रोडक्ट को बनाने में हेल्प करते हैं, लेकिन डायरेक्टली आप मेजर नहीं कर सकते हो कि उन्होंने क्या काम किया एग्जैक्टली प्रोडक्ट के ऊपर, दैट इज इनडायरेक्ट. इनडायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस अगेन लाइटिंग, हीटिंग, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, टेलीफोन, सारे इनडायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस which are used for the product only but not directly on the product, which facilitate the production of the product. Clear? So they are indirect. So we have done direct and then indirect. Then overheads. Overheads means जो हम बोलते हैं ऊपर के खर्चे, which are not directly on the product but which incur. Overheads are also called as indirect. So we have done indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses. All these indirect costs are called as overheads. Clear? So we have the groups for indirect overheads. Production of works overhead. So whatever indirect cost is incurred in factory or production area are called production overheads. Clear? I repeat, whatever indirect cost is incurred in the factory, indirect in the factory area, in the production area, in the shop floor is called production overhead. Whatever is used in administration, general department, office area is called administration overhead, because all these are indirect. Selling, which are used for marketing of products, all right, advertising, promotion expenses, commission, all these are selling expenses. Distribution are relating to logistics, transport, packing, warehousing, go down charges. They all are distribution overhead. See, all these are indirect. You cannot exactly measure them on the product, but they are used in some or the other way for the product only. So direct is incurred on the product. Indirect is incurred for the product. Clear? So indirect are called as overheads. So there are production, administration, selling, distribution, and R&D also. Research and development also is part of overheads, because they also, are incurred for the betterment of the product only. Then you have by functions. All right. So this we'll be doing in cost sheet also later. By functions, what are the categories? Direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. So direct material, direct labor, direct expenses, they form prime cost. Clear? We'll be doing it in detail. So it's just an overview. So functional classification is the direct cost is called as prime cost. Indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expense. So all three are factory overheads if they are incurred in factory area. All three are incurred in administration part also, and in selling and distribution also. Clear? So prime cost, if we add factory overheads, it will get factory cost. To that, if we further add administration, we get cost of goods sold. We further add selling and distribution, we get cost of sales. Clear? So it's in continuation. I repeat, direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. We get prime cost. To the prime cost, if we add factory overheads, we get factory cost. To the factory cost, we add administration overhead, we get cost of goods sold. To cost of goods sold, if we further add selling and distribution, we get cost of sales. Clear? So this is in continuation. It's not separate heads. All right. This is part of the cost statement which we'll be doing. All right. So this is by functions classification. Then you have the variability or behavior. Fixed cost, variable cost, semi-variable cost. So fixed cost is which remains constant over a period of time. Salaries of the staff, rent of the factory. These are the fixed costs. So you produce or you don't produce, you have to pay fixed cost. You have to pay interest on bank loan. You have to pay salaries to staff. You have to pay rent of the factory. You have to pay depreciation, irrespective of whether you are doing production or not. They are fixed costs. They remain fixed or constant to a certain level of activity or output. Clear? Variable cost, which you change with every unit, variable cost will change. The best example for variable cost is raw material. You produce one extra table, that much of raw material will be used extra. You produce one less table, accordingly, raw material consumption will also reduce. So variable cost which changes with the level of output you produce. Clear? Semi-variable. Semi-variable means it is fixed also and variable also. All right. One of the best examples of semi-variable, electricity. So till certain connection, all right, the bill which will come as fixed. So till certain level, the bill will be fixed, and after that it will be variable depending upon the consumption of electricity. So till, let us say 1000 will be fixed till 200 units of consumption of electricity. So till 200 units, your bill will be fixed 1000. You consume 0 units, you consume 100 units, you consume 200 units. Till 200 units, you will have a fixed electricity bill of 1000, for example. After that, it will be per unit of consumption. Clear? So beyond 200, whatever you are consuming, the electricity, the bill will be per unit. All right? एक एक यूनिट जितना बढ़ता जाएगा उतना बिल आपका बढ़ता जाएगा. So electricity is semi-variable, something which is fixed also and variable also. Clear? So that is semi-variable. So semi-variable, see, semi-variable we split into fixed and variable. We have to split into, मतलब आपको फिक्स्ड और वेरिएबल को अलग अलग करना है सेमी वेरिएबल से. उसके ये मेथड्स हैं, ग्राफिकल मेथड, हाई लो मेथड, एनालिटिकल मेथड, कंपैरिजन मेथड एंड लीस्ट स्क्वायर्स मेथड. तो ये मेथड है जो सेमी वेरिएबल में से फिक्स्ड और वेरिएबल को अलग करना है. क्लियर? सो विल बी क्विकली डूइंग दीज मेथड्स. ग्राफिकल मेथड. तो ग्राफिकल मेथड कैसे होता है? दिस इज द ग्राफ. आई होप यू नो हाउ वी प्लॉट अ ग्राफ. ग्राफ सबने देखा होगा. ठीक है, ये ग्राफ है. ये आपका एक्स एक्सिस है, ये आपका वाई एक्सिस है. यहाँ पे आपके आउटपुट है और यहाँ पे आपके सेमी वेरिएबल ओवरहेड है. ठीक है, देखिए फिक्स कॉस्ट तो फिक्स रहेगी. आप कुछ भी, आपको इतना भी वो करिए, फिक्स कॉस्ट तो आपकी फिक्स रहेगी. और 0 यूनिट्स हैं बट फिक्स कॉस्ट आपकी रहेगी. जैसे जैसे आपका आउटपुट बढ़ता जा रहा है, देखिए जैसे जैसे आपका आउटपुट बढ़ता जा रहा है, फिक्स तो ऐसे ही है लेकिन वेरिएबल कॉस्ट बढ़ती रहेगी. तो ये डिफरेंट पॉइंट्स हम प्लॉट करेंगे टोटल कॉस्ट के. इसमें एक लाइन ड्रॉ करेंगे जो मैक्सिमम पॉइंट्स को कवर करे. तो ये पूरा एरिया तो टोटल कॉस्ट है. ठीक है, ये पूरा एरिया आपका टोटल कॉस्ट है. ये वाला एरिया आपका फिक्स कॉस्ट है और ये वाला जो एरिया है ये आपका वेरिएबल कॉस्ट है. तो ये ग्राफिकल वे है आपको समझाने का. सो ये ग्राफ है. ऑन द एक्स एक्सिस आउटपुट है. एज द आउटपुट इज इंक्रीजिंग, वेरिएबल कॉस्ट विल इंक्रीज. तो जो इंक्रीज वाली लाइन है वो बेसिकली वेरिएबल की वजह से इंक्रीज हो रही है. फिक्स कॉस्ट की लाइन सेम है. फिक्स कॉस्ट इज सेम irrespective of output. Clear? To a certain level, of course. So this is the total gap. Total cost का gap है. Half of the gap is the fixed cost and the other half is the variable cost. So this is the way we make the graphical method of the semi-variable cost. All right. Then move further. This is the second method. High-low method. High-low method means highest sales and lowest sales and highest total cost and lowest. Total cost का मतलब यहाँ पे सेमी वेरिएबल है. हमने सेमी वेरिएबल में से फिक्स्ड और वेरिएबल को अलग अलग करना है. ठीक है, सो टोटल सेल्स, हाईएस्ट सेल्स एंड लोएस्ट सेल्स. ऑलराइट, सो डिफरेंस लेना है हमने. वी हैव टेकन द डिफरेंस ऑफ हाईएस्ट एंड लोएस्ट सेल्स 60,000. डिफरेंस ऑफ हाईएस्ट कॉस्ट एंड लोएस्ट कॉस्ट 12,000. सो total weight, we have to calculate the variable cost. Clear? So 12,000 divided by, so difference in the cost divided by difference in sales. परसेंट आप निकालोगे, कितना परसेंट आ रहा है? 20%. That means 20% is the variable cost. 20% of sales is the variable cost. Clear? Through this method, we are calculating the variable cost in the total cost. Fixed cost will be the balance. So this is a method of high-low method. Highest sales, lowest sales, highest cost and lowest cost. Sales का difference लोगे आप और cost का difference लोगे. Difference in cost divided by difference in sales आपका 20% आ जाता है. That means variable cost is 20% of sales. तो अब आप calculate करिए. 1,40,000 में से 20% is 28,000. Variable cost and fixed cost. 20% of 1,40,000 is 28,000. So 72,000 में से 28,000 is variable cost. Fixed cost is 44,000. Similarly, for the lowest volume, 80,000 is sales and 20% of sales is variable cost. So 16,000 is variable cost. Out of 60,000, 16,000 is variable cost. Balance is 44,000. See, fixed cost will be same. So if you split the semi-variable into fixed and variable, वेरिएबल कॉस्ट आप कैलकुलेट कर रहे हो, फिक्स कॉस्ट बैलेंसिंग फिगर होगा, द बैलेंस अमाउंट होगा टोटल कॉस्ट में, वो फिक्स कॉस्ट आएगा जो सेम आएगा, बिकॉज द प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ फिक्स कॉस्ट इज इट रिमेन्स कांस्टेंट. क्लियर? वॉल्यूम ऑफ आउटपुट कुछ भी हो, इट विल रिमेन कांस्टेंट. So this is high-low method. I hope you've understood this. All right. Yes, it could be. Cost object, cost driver हो सकता है same अगर आप उसकी costing कर रहे हो. Classification caused by as both seem similar. Suman, how can they be similar by nature and by function? By function is they have certain function of factory, of administration, of selling. They are different functions. Nature is their the element of cost. What is their nature? Material, labor, the nature. The function is the functional classification of the department. One is factory department, one is administration department, one is selling department. How can function and nature be sound similar to you? They're totally different. All right. Read again and you will understand. The next method is comparison by period and level of activity. Clear? So a change in the amount of expense. So you have the expense for 2 periods, for January and February. So we have semi-variable cost for January and semi-variable for February. All right. And then we have production units. In last method, we have the sales. Here we have production units for January and then February. So the difference in the units and difference in cost. Clear? So divide difference in units, difference in cost divided by difference in units. Clear? So 1 per unit. It is variable cost. So variable cost is 1 per unit. Now we will calculate the variable and fixed. Variable cost is 1 per unit. How you have calculated? Difference in cost divided by difference in units. Clear? So 1 per unit is variable cost. Now the units are here. 100 units for January. So variable cost is 1 per unit. So for January, the variable cost is 100. Total cost is 260. Out of total cost, variable is 100. So how much is total? Fixed cost, 160. Similarly, for February, units are 140. Variable is 1 per unit. So the variable cost becomes 140. So out of total 300, variable cost is 140. How much is fixed? 160. See, fixed cost should be same. It should be equal because fixed cost remains constant. Clear? So we have done 3 methods, graphical method. Then we have the high-low method. Then we have the change in the expense to change in output. Then we have analytical method also. Of course, analytical method is just a judgment method. All right. So the analyst, the research team, they analyzes what should be variable and what should be fixed. But these are more technical methods. Least square method. So this is in the form of equation. This is the least square equation. I hope you know. Y equal to mx plus c. Y is the semi-variable cost, the total cost. M is the variable cost. X are the units, number of units. C is the fixed cost. Clear? So this is the equation. Y is equal to mx plus c. And this is the 1200 is the total cost given to us. So 1200, the equation 1. And this is equation 2. So we have placed the figures in the equation. 1200 is the total variable cost. So y is 1200. Y is 1200 in both the equations. 150 are the labor hours, the volume could be units or could be hours. It could be anything. Variable cost can be a proportion of units or hours. So they have taken hours here. X is hours. Clear? Units or hours, whatever you can take. So 150 and 200, M and C we don't know. So when we solve the equation, variable cost comes to 150 per labor hour. I hope you know how to solve the equation. 1200 is equal to 150 M plus C. 1275 is equal to 200 M plus C. So you just change the signs. This is basic maths, all right? So this will be nullified and you get 75 is equal to 50 M. So M is equal to 1.5. M is what? Variable cost. So variable cost is 1.5 per hour. You know the hours, you calculate variable cost first. So for 60% level of activity, how much will be the variable cost? 1.50 into 150. Clear? Whatever is the variable cost deducted from 1200, you will get the fixed cost. So this is how we do it through least square method, the equation method. All right. Y is equal to mx plus c. Any of the methods come in the exams. This is the most popular and more accurate. So this is the least square method. The balance will be so in all the methods, we calculate the variable cost. So we calculate variable cost, the balance comes out to be fixed cost. Is it clear? That is one thing you need to remember. All right. So these are the semi-variable we have segregated into fixed and variable cost. Let's move further. All right. By controllability. So we are doing the classification of cost only. All right. Controllable cost and uncontrollable cost. Now see, it's very easy to understand. Controllable cost means I told you there are many. Now you know the responsibility centers. There are different responsibility centers for which the particular responsibility center manager is answerable. So something which is happening inside the responsibility center, the manager is able to control the cost. So something which is incurred within a department, the department manager will be able to control. So the controllable cost, which can be controlled by the manager. Uncontrollable cost means which cannot be managed or controlled by the department manager. All right. Let us say the electricity bill is shared among all the departments. All right. The electricity bill is shared among all the departments. Now, the electricity bill cannot be controlled by one department manager. All right. It has to be controlled by all the department managers. Then only the electricity bill can be saved. So, something which can be controlled by a departmental manager vis-a-vis to his own department, internally department, that is controllable cost. Something which is happening on an organizational level, that departmental manager cannot control it. It becomes uncontrollable cost if we talk about that particular department. Clear? So see, otherwise no cost is uncontrollable. In the long run, we can control every cost. But immediately, the department manager only can control his own department cost. He cannot control the outside department or external department or organizational cost. Clear? So that way is controllable and uncontrollable. But otherwise, in the long run, every cost is controllable. Clear? By normality, normal cost, abnormal cost. Normal cost is which will be incurred. If I am producing product A, every time which the cost will be incurred is a normal cost. All right. Abnormal is which has incurred this time, but every time it will not be incurred. Let us say there is a machine breakdown. So because of that, we have lost, 1 day of work. So 1 day of, labor charges are wasted. 1 day of machine has gone wasted. The production was not there, or some strike has happened. Every time the strike will not happen. Every time the machine breakdown will not happen. So normal cost is always part of the cost of the product. Abnormal cost will never be part of cost of the product. It will go to costing profit or loss account. It's an abnormal charge. Clear? So we always consider the normal cost. We never consider the abnormal cost. We never allow एबनॉर्मल कॉस्ट टू बी पार्ट ऑफ कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन। कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन हमारा नॉर्मल होना चाहिए, कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन वो होना चाहिए जो हर बार वही आए। बट एबनॉर्मल कॉस्ट अगर हम इंक्लूड कर लेंगे तो कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन तो हर बार चेंज होती रहेगी। कभी स्ट्राइक हो गया तो कभी मशीन खराब हो गई तो कभी लेबर बीमार हो गया। सी, सो एबनॉर्मल कॉस्ट इज विच शुड नॉट हैपन एवरी टाइम, इसलिए हम उसको कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन का पार्ट नहीं रखते। नॉर्मल कॉस्ट तो हर बार जो होगा वो हर बार कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन में ऐड होगा, वही नॉर्मल कॉस्ट होता है। ठीक है, ओके। कॉस्ट जो मैनेजरियल डिसीजन मेकिंग में वी यूज, सो दीज आर द कॉस्ट, समटाइम्स दे कम। प्रीडिटर्मिन्ड कॉस्ट, क्लियर? प्रीडिटर्मिन्ड कॉस्ट इज समथिंग which is estimated, which we estimate, which we project before the production starts। दो तरह की प्रीडिटर्मिन्ड कॉस्ट होती हैं, एक होती है एस्टिमेटेड कॉस्ट और एक होती है स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्ट। प्रीडिटर्मिन्ड कॉस्ट फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल जो प्रोडक्शन स्टार्ट होने से पहले ही हम प्रीडिटर्मिन करके रखते हैं, पहले ही हम सोच के रखते हैं कि ये कॉस्ट होनी चाहिए। There are two types of predetermined cost, standard cost and estimated cost. Now, estimated cost तो pure estimate है, vague estimate है, but standard cost इतना vague नहीं होता। Standard cost is based on technical estimate. All right, standard cost करना, जो हम स्टैंडर्ड सेट करते हैं, जो हम अभी तक बहुत टाइम से स्टैंडर्ड सेट करते हैं, we keep the standards, we measure the actual performance against the standards. So this is the standard cost which I was talking about. Standard cost is more of a scientific exercise. ये vague estimate नहीं होता। estimated cost है कि ये cost होगी, but standard cost says what it should be. एस्टिमेटेड कॉस्ट होती है यही कॉस्ट होगी, ये एस्टिमेट कर लिया, बट स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्ट बोल बताता है व्हाट इट शुड बी। इट्स अ मोर टेक्निकल एस्टिमेट। तो दोनों ही प्री डिटर्मिन्ड होती हैं, बट स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्ट मोर रिलायबल होती है, थोड़ी सी मोर एक्यूरेट होती है, क्योंकि हम उसको पास्ट एक्सपीरियंस के हिसाब से टेक्निकल एनालिसिस करके स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्ट को सेट करते हैं। मार्केट का सर्वे किया जाता है सब कुछ सोच के कि क्या क्या चेंजेस हो सकते हैं, वो सब चेंजेस करने के बाद स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्ट इज सेट। एस्टिमेटेड कॉस्ट थोड़ा एक वेग एस्टिमेट होता है, वो बहुत ज्यादा टेक्निकल एस्टिमेट नहीं होता, यही डिफरेंस है दोनों में। सो स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्ट, अगेन स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्ट सिर्फ एक एस्टिमेट नहीं होता, स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्ट तो टेक्निक ऑफ कॉस्टिंग भी है। यू हैव अ सेपरेट यूनिट ऑन स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग। So standard costing is a method of costing also. It's a technique of costing also. Estimate cost is just an estimate. Clear? Marginal cost. Marginal cost is such cost कि आपको marginal कि हम 1 यूनिट हम एक्स्ट्रा बनाएं तो क्या एडिशनल कॉस्ट आएगा, या 1 यूनिट हम कम करें तो कितना कॉस्ट कम होगा। So marginal cost is the variable cost. What is the cost increase if I increase the output by 1 unit? You understand? Marginal cost is the increase in the total cost if I increase the output by 1 unit. So that additional cost, that variable cost is marginal. Yeah? So these are the terms which you should understand. Differential cost. See, differential cost is, let us say I have changed the technology of the product. All right. So earlier the cost was rupees 10,000. Now I have changed the technology of the product. Now the cost is 12,000. So differential, how much is the difference? Difference is, earlier it was 10, now it's 12. Difference is 2,000. So the difference in the change in the total cost due to change in the technology or due to change in the method of production or due to increase a specific element of cost, थोड़ा सा मैंने ऊपर नीचे किया. So whatever is the difference in the total cost due to various such factors is called differential cost. अगर कॉस्ट बढ़ रहा है तो उसको इंक्रीमेंटल कॉस्ट कहेंगे, अगर कॉस्ट कम हो रहा है उसको डिक्रीमेंटल कॉस्ट कहेंगे. दोनों ही डिफरेंस इन कॉस्ट है. कॉस्ट 10 से 12,000 हो जाए या 10 से 8,000 हो जाए, दोनों डिफरेंशियल कॉस्ट हैं. 10 से 12 होना इंक्रीमेंटल है और 10 से 8 होना डिक्रीमेंटल है. क्लियर? बट दोनों डिफरेंशियल कॉस्ट हैं. सो द चेंज इन द टोटल कॉस्ट due to change in the method of production or factors of production or element of cost or technology change, so due to which अगर total cost change हो रहा है, it's differential cost. imputed cost. See, imputed cost, notional cost, implicit cost, तीनों ऑलमोस्ट सेम होती हैं. ये कॉस्ट वो है जो इनकर नहीं होती, विच वी डू नॉट पे. कैश बाहर नहीं जाता, जिसका हम कैश पेमेंट नहीं करते. ठीक है. लेट अस से कि मेरे बैंक में 10,000 रुपीज आर देयर और मुझे वहां इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है. वो 10,000 मैंने विड्रॉ करके बिजनेस में लगा दिए, तो बिजनेस तो मुझे इंटरेस्ट नहीं देगा ऑन माय ओन कैपिटल. सो इंटरेस्ट ऑन ओनर्स कैपिटल और नोशनल कॉस्ट है, वो इम्प्यूटेड कॉस्ट है, जिसमें हम एक्चुअली कैश पेमेंट बिजनेस नहीं कर रहा. बिजनेस इज नॉट पेइंग मी इंटरेस्ट. बैंक से तो मुझे इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा था, बट मैंने वो पैसा निकाल के बिजनेस में लगा दिया. बिजनेस मुझे इंटरेस्ट नहीं दे रहा. सो द कॉस्ट विच इज नोशनल, जिसका कोई कैश पेमेंट बिजनेस नहीं करता, उसको हम इम्प्यूटेड कॉस्ट कहते हैं, नोशनल कॉस्ट कहते हैं, या इम्प्लिसिट कॉस्ट कहते हैं. तीनों वर्ड्स उसके लिए यूज होते हैं. ठीक है. और कई बार हम उसको अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट भी बोलते हैं. ऑलराइट. सो इम्प्यूटेड कॉस्ट होता है जिसमें डू नॉट इन्वॉल्व एनी कैश आउटले, द पेमेंट ऑफ विच इज नॉट एक्चुअली मेड, वो होती है इम्प्यूटेड कॉस्ट, जो अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट भी कहते हैं. तो ये सारे 3-4 टर्म्स जो हैं ये सिमिलर है. ठीक है. कैपिटलाइज्ड कॉस्ट. कैपिटलाइज्ड कॉस्ट का बेस्ट एग्जांपल है, लेट अस से आई हैव परचेज्ड वन एसेट ऑफ रुपीज 1 लाख. उस एसेट को इंस्टॉल करने का 10,000 रुपीज लग रहा है ना. कोई इंजीनियर आ रहा है, ही इज टेकिंग 10,000 रुपीज टू इंस्टॉल दैट एसेट ताकि वो यूज हो सके. तो वो 10,000 जो है वो प्रॉफिट और लॉस अकाउंट में नहीं जाता, वो एसेट का ही पार्ट है. तो जब तक एसेट यूज नहीं होता तब तक उसके ऊपर कुछ भी खर्चा हो रहा है वो कैपिटलाइज होता है, उसको कैपिटलाइज कॉस्ट कहते हैं. मतलब वो एसेट की कॉस्ट ही बन जाता है. ठीक है. आई एम रिपीटिंग, कोई भी आप एसेट परचेज करते हो, उसकी परचेज प्राइस में अगर कोई खर्चा और ऐड हो रहा है, जब तक वो एसेट यूज नहीं होता तब तक वो सारा जो खर्चा है वो कॉस्ट ऑफ एसेट में ही ऐड होता है. तो एसेट का इंस्टॉलेशन एक्सपेंसेस जो है इट विल बी एडेड टू द कॉस्ट ऑफ द एसेट, क्योंकि अभी एसेट यूज नहीं हो रहा. बट यस, एक बार अगर एसेट यूज होना शुरू हो जाता है, उसके बाद का अगर कोई एक्सपेंस है वो कैपिटलाइज नहीं होगा, वो प्रॉफिट और लॉस में ही जाता है. ठीक है. सो कैपिटलाइज कॉस्ट इज समथिंग which is part of the cost of the asset before the asset and till the asset is put to use. After the asset is put to use, then the expenses will not be capitalized. They are revenue expenses. They are not capital expenses. Clear? Product cost. Product cost is the cost, सारी manufacturing cost जो होती है, which is incurred on the product and for the product. वो प्रोडक्ट कॉस्ट होती है. सारे डायरेक्ट कॉस्ट, इनडायरेक्ट मटेरियल, इनडायरेक्ट लेबर, जो भी फैक्ट्री की कॉस्ट है, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कॉस्ट है, ऑल दीज मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कॉस्ट इज द प्रोडक्ट कॉस्ट. ठीक है. जो भी प्रोडक्ट पे होती है, रॉ मटेरियल है, लेबर है, फैक्ट्री की जो भी कॉस्ट है, वो सारी की जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कॉस्ट होती है, कन्वर्जन कॉस्ट होती है, वो प्रोडक्ट कॉस्ट होती है. ठीक है. So the costs which are associated with the purchase and sale of goods, costs are associated with acquisition and conversion of material and all other manufacturing inputs into finished product for sale. So marginal costing, variable manufacturing cost, इसमें सारी की सारी जो कॉस्ट होती है वो प्रोडक्ट कॉस्ट होती है. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कॉस्ट जो भी है वो प्रोडक्ट कॉस्ट होती है. अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट, आई जस्ट एक्सप्लेन्ड यू अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट. अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट होती है जो आप इनकर नहीं करते हो. जैसे मैंने एग्जांपल दिया आपको, इंटरेस्ट ऑन जो आपका सेविंग्स थी बैंक में. लेट अस से कि आप अपने ही घर में फैक्ट्री चला रहे हो, अपने ही घर में आपने बेसमेंट में ऑफिस खोल रखा है, आपका बिजनेस चल रहा है. अगर आप बाहर रेंट पे लेते तो आप बाहर रेंट पे करते, लेकिन अभी आप अपने ही घर में, अपने ही घर के बेसमेंट में बिजनेस चला रहे हो, तो बिजनेस आपको रेंट तो नहीं दे रहा. इसका मतलब आपने वो रेंट लूज कर दिया जो बिजनेस आपको नहीं दे रहा. उसको हम अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट कहते हैं. तो वही जो बिजनेस पे नहीं करता है, लेकिन अगर वो आप बाहर से अरेंज करते तो बिजनेस जरूर पे करता, उसी को हम अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट कहते हैं. मुझे अगर बाहर, मैंने अगर किसी और को रेंट पे दिया होता तो मुझे रेंट मिलता, लेकिन आई एम रनिंग माई ओन बिजनेस इन माई फैक्ट्री, इन माई ओन एरिया, आई एम नॉट गेटिंग एनी रेंट, सो आई एम लूजिंग दैट रेंट एज एन ओनर, सो दैट इज द अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट, जो बिजनेस मुझे पे नहीं कर रहा, ठीक है। तो जो भी आप सैक्रिफाइस करते हो या बेनिफिट आप अपॉर्चुनिटी जो फॉर गो करते हो, आप लूज करते हो, वही अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट होती है। आउट ऑफ पॉकेट कॉस्ट, आउट ऑफ पॉकेट कॉस्ट वो होती है जो आप कैश पेमेंट जिसकी करते हो और जनरली कंपनी आपको रीइंबर्स कर देती है। लेट अस से आप क्लाइंट के साथ मीटिंग में जा रहे हो, आप उसको लंच कराते हो, है ना, तो वो लंच कराते हो, आप अपनी पॉकेट से पैसे दे रहे हो जो कंपनी आपको रीइंबर्स कर देती है, ठीक है। तो आउट ऑफ पॉकेट मीन्स जो आपकी पॉकेट से खर्च हो रहा है, यू आर इनकरिंग दैट एक्सपेंडिचर आउट ऑफ योर ओन पॉकेट and which the company will reimburse to you. So पार्किंग की फीस होती है, टोल चार्जेस हैं, आपके क्लाइंट को लंच पे ले जाने के चार्जेस हैं, तो जो भी आप आउट ऑफ पॉकेट एक्सपेंसेस करते हो जो कंपनी आपको देती है, वो आउट ऑफ पॉकेट कॉस्ट होती है। शट डाउन कॉस्ट, शट डाउन कॉस्ट वो होती है टेम्परेरी, जैसे कोविड के टाइम पे क्या हुआ था, बिजनेसेस बंद थे, फैक्ट्रीज बंद थी, बट फैक्ट्री का रेंट तो जा रहा होगा, एम्प्लॉयज को सैलरीज तो दी गई हैं, तो जब टेम्परेरीली शट डाउन हो जाता है, टेम्परेरी, एंड स्टिल यू हैव टू पे सम फिक्स कॉस्ट, दैट इज कॉल्ड शट डाउन कॉस्ट। Temporary shutdown of the area, the business, the factory, the production, still the cost which you have to incur is called shutdown cost, ठीक है। sunk cost, sunk cost मतलब जो हो चुका है पास्ट में। सो लेट अस से एक मशीन हमने ली और वो मशीन अब यूजलेस हो गई है थोड़ी सी, हम एक नई मशीन ले रहे हैं, तो जो कॉस्ट विच आई हैव इनकर्ड टू परचेज दैट ओल्ड मशीन, जो भी उसकी कॉस्ट मेरी बुक्स में है, दैट इज द संक कॉस्ट। अब उसका कोई फायदा नहीं, वो तो हो चुका, दैट कॉस्ट विल नॉट हैव एनी रेलेवेंस इन माय फ्यूचर डिसीजन मेकिंग। अब नई मशीन आएगी, उससे काम होगा, तो जो पुरानी मशीन का जो कॉस्ट था, दैट इज अ संक कॉस्ट, cost which has already been incurred in the historical thing and it is now no more relevant for decision making, ठीक है। एब्सोल्यूट कॉस्ट, एब्सोल्यूट कॉस्ट मतलब जो एब्सोल्यूट अमाउंट में आपको बताया जा रहा है कि 10,000 की कॉस्ट होगी। देखो कितनी तरह से कॉस्ट आप हमें बता सकते हो, एक तो टोटल कि 10,000 की कॉस्ट लगेगी, एक आप बताते हो कि एक यूनिट पे 10 रुपए की कॉस्ट आएगी, एक यूनिट या एक केजी 10 रुपीज का आएगा, या आप बोल सकते हो कि 20% की कॉस्ट लगेगी। तो तीन तरह से कॉस्ट मैंने आपको बताई, एक है कि भाई 10,000 का खर्चा आएगा, दूसरा है कि एक यूनिट को बनाने में 10 रुपए लगेगा, तीसरा है कि 20% तक का खर्चा आ जाएगा। सो जो एब्सोल्यूट में मैंने आपको बताया है 10,000 का खर्चा लगेगा, वो एब्सोल्यूट कॉस्ट है। जब आप उसको एग्जैक्ट अमाउंट बताते हो, उसको एब्सोल्यूट कॉस्ट बोलते हैं। रिलेटिव कॉस्ट होती है जो परसेंट में बताई गई है, मतलब अंदाजा 20%, वो रिलेटिव कॉस्ट है। एब्सोल्यूट मींस एग्जैक्ट एक्यूरेट कॉस्ट जब आप बता रहे हो, इसको हम एब्सोल्यूट कॉस्ट कहते हैं, ठीक है। डिस्क्रिशनरी कॉस्ट पहले भी मैंने डिस्कस किया था, डिस्क्रिशनरी कॉस्ट, डिस्क्रिशनरी कॉस्ट होता है कि जिसमें आप इनपुट आउटपुट, इनपुट से आउटपुट और आउटपुट से इनपुट को मेजर नहीं कर सकते। 10 kg ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल से एक आउटपुट का यूनिट बनेगा, वो मुझे एग्जैक्ट पता है, वो डिस्क्रिशनरी कॉस्ट नहीं होती। बेस्ट एग्जांपल है डिस्क्रिशनरी का एडवर्टाइजमेंट या सेल्स प्रमोशन। मैंने 5 करोड़ रुपए एडवर्टाइजमेंट में लगा दिए, अब उस 5 करोड़ में जो एडवर्टाइजमेंट किया है उससे सेल्स कितना बड़ा है, यू कैन नॉट मेजर। तो सेल्स मतलब मेरा जो आउटपुट है, रेवेन्यू है, वो एडवर्टीजमेंट के 5 करोड़ की वजह से कितना हुआ है, आई कैन नॉट मेजर। सो मेरा जो एडवर्टीजमेंट का 5 करोड़ का जो एक्सपेंस है, वो डिस्क्रिशनरी कॉस्ट है। डिस्क्रिशनरी कॉस्ट इज समथिंग वेयर you cannot measure the input of cost with the output of revenue or production. Clear? इनपुट आउटपुट को आप रिलेट नहीं कर सकते हो, मेजर नहीं कर सकते हो, वो डिस्क्रिशनरी कॉस्ट होती है। पीरियड कॉस्ट, पीरियड ऑफ प्रोडक्ट, प्रोडक्ट कॉस्ट होता है जो सिर्फ प्रोडक्ट पे लगता है, पीरियड कॉस्ट होता है जो नॉन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है। प्रोडक्ट कॉस्ट के टाइम पे मैंने आपको बताया था कि सब मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कॉस्ट जो होती है वो पूरी प्रोडक्ट पे लग रही है, प्रोडक्ट कॉस्ट होता है। जो नॉन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है, ऑफिस की लाइटिंग, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, टेलीफोन, सेल्स के खर्चे, वो सारे आपके पीरियड के कॉस्ट हैं। डेप्रिसिएशन, इंटरेस्ट, रेंट जो टाइम के हिसाब से हैं वो आपको देने ही देने हैं, वो प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड नहीं है। कितना प्रोडक्ट मैन्युफैक्चर हुआ कितना नहीं हुआ वो उससे कोई इन्फ्लुएंस नहीं होता। सो पीरियड कॉस्ट आर कॉस्ट विच आर नॉट असाइंड टू प्रोडक्ट or which are but are charged as expenses against revenue. Depreciation, rent, salaries, electricity bill, telephone bill, प्रोडक्ट कितना मैन्युफैक्चर हो रहा है कितना नहीं हो रहा उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता, वो आपको चार्ज करना ही है क्योंकि उस साल के उस पीरियड के वो खर्चे हैं। दैट इज कॉल्ड पीरियड कॉस्ट। सो नॉन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कॉस्ट जो होती है, जनरल कॉस्ट, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की कॉस्ट, सेलिंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की कॉस्ट, वो आपकी पीरियड कॉस्ट होती है। ठीक है। इंजीनियर्ड कॉस्ट, इंजीनियर्ड कॉस्ट वो कॉस्ट होती है जो आप मेजर कर सकते हो। ऑपोजिट ऑफ इंजीनियर्ड कॉस्ट इज डिस्क्रिशनरी कॉस्ट। ठीक है। ऑपोजिट ऑफ पीरियड कॉस्ट इज प्रोडक्ट कॉस्ट। तो इंजीनियर्ड कॉस्ट इज जस्ट द ऑपोजिट ऑफ डिस्क्रिशनरी कॉस्ट। इंजीनियर्ड कॉस्ट में आप एग्जैक्ट मेजर कर सकते हो कि अगर इनपुट इतना है तो आउटपुट कितना होगा। तो अगर 10 kg ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल इनपुट है तो 1 आउटपुट का यूनिट निकलेगा। अगर 20 kg जा रहा है तो 2 यूनिट आउटपुट निकलना चाहिए। अगर 30 kg ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल जा रहा है तो 3 इनपुट का आउटपुट प्रोडक्ट निकलना चाहिए। सो इंजीनियर्ड कॉस्ट में इनपुट आउटपुट मेजर कर सकते हो आप, दैट इज इंजीनियर्ड कॉस्ट। तो जनरली जो भी आपकी डायरेक्ट कॉस्ट होती है, डायरेक्ट मटेरियल, डायरेक्ट लेबर, आपका इंजीनियर्ड कॉस्ट होती है। देन यू हैव एक्सप्लिसिट कॉस्ट। एक्सप्लिसिट कॉस्ट होती है आउट ऑफ पॉकेट या जो भी आपकी कॉस्ट में आप कैश पेमेंट दे रहे हो, वो सारे एक्सप्लिसिट कॉस्ट है। जो भी खर्चे जिनमें आप एक्चुअल कैश पे करते हो वो एक्सप्लिसिट कॉस्ट होती है। इसका जस्ट ऑपोजिट है इम्प्लिसिट कॉस्ट। मैंने आपको बताया था इम्प्लिसिट कॉस्ट, इम्प्यूटेड कॉस्ट, अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट, नोशनल कॉस्ट, ये सब सेम है। इसमें एक बेस्ट एग्जांपल, एक और एग्जांपल मैं दे सकती हूँ आपको। ओनर जो है अपना जो टाइम देता है, लेट अस से मैंने ओनर मैंने किसी और को बाहर कंसल्टेंसी दी तो मुझे पैसे मिलते हैं। लेकिन अगर मैंने अपने बिजनेस में ही अपने टाइम दिया है एज अ ओनर, दिन के 10 घंटे आई एम गिविंग इट टू माई बिजनेस, आई एम नॉट गेटिंग पेड फॉर इट, तो वो एक इम्प्यूटेड, एक इम्प्लिसिट कॉस्ट है। जो अपना टाइम और एनर्जी जो मेरी लग रही है बिजनेस में, वो कहीं पे मेजर नहीं हो सकती है, वो इम्प्लिसिट कॉस्ट है। ठीक है, जो कहीं रिकॉर्ड नहीं होती है। ऑलराइट, सो दैट इज इम्प्लिसिट कॉस्ट। तो एक्सप्लिसिट का ऑपोजिट है इम्प्लिसिट, इंजीनियर्ड का ऑपोजिट है डिस्क्रिशनरी, पीरियड कॉस्ट का ऑपोजिट है प्रोडक्ट कॉस्ट। ऑलराइट, so let us quickly move forward. So this is an exercise will be shared and you can practice it. All right, methods of costing, again हमने कहीं ना कहीं ये डिस्कस किया है, बट अब इसको प्रॉपरली एक मेथड ऑफ कॉस्टिंग को डिस्कस करेंगे। सिंगल और आउटपुट कॉस्टिंग। सिंगल और आउटपुट कॉस्टिंग यूज होता है जहां पे एक स्टैंडर्ड प्रोडक्ट बनता है, सेम तरह का प्रोडक्ट आप मैन्युफैक्चर करते हो, पर यूनिट के बेस पे आप चार्ज करते हो। इफ आई एम मेकिंग बाइसाइकिल, तो पर बाइसाइकिल, पर यूनिट ऑफ बाइसाइकिल और पर बाइसाइकिल मेरा सिंगल कॉस्टिंग यूज होगी। एक ही तरह की बाइसाइकिल प्रोड्यूस हो रही है, सो सिंगल और आउटपुट कॉस्टिंग। ठीक है, द कॉस्ट ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट इज एसर्टेन्ड, द प्रोडक्ट बीइंग द ओनली प्रोडक्ट। आप एक ही प्रोडक्ट बना रहे हो तो उसमें सिंगल कॉस्टिंग यूज होगी। बैच कॉस्टिंग, बैच कॉस्टिंग मतलब जहां पे एक लॉट एक साथ प्रोड्यूस होता है। मेडिसिन इज द बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल फॉर बैच कॉस्टिंग। ठीक है, 10,000 या 1,000 जो स्ट्रिप होती है, जैसे क्रोसिन की स्ट्रिप है, क्रोसिन का एक स्ट्रिप लेकर आते हो आप, उस एक स्ट्रिप में 10 टेबलेट्स होती हैं, तो 1,000 जो क्रोसिन की स्ट्रिप्स हैं वो एक साथ मैन्युफैक्चर हो रही हैं, वो एक ही बैच में मैन्युफैक्चर हो रही हैं, है ना। जैसे आप बीबीए कर रहे हो तो आप किस बैच के बीबीए में हो, आपका बैच क्या है, आप 2024 के पास आउट हो, 2023 के पास आउट हो, आप किस बैच के हो। आपने 12th पास आउट किया, 2020 में 12th पास आउट किया, तो 2020 बैच के हो आप, तो 2020 बैच के 200 बच्चे हैं, है ना। तो बैच कॉस्टिंग यूज होती है जहां पे एक स्टैंडर्डाइज प्रोडक्ट एक साथ मैन्युफैक्चर होते हैं। मेडिसिन इज द बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल। मेडिसिन हमेशा बैचेस में प्रोड्यूस होती है, एक एक स्ट्रिप एक एक करके नहीं प्रोड्यूस होती, एक साथ 1,000 मेडिसिन स्ट्रिप्स एक साथ प्रोड्यूस होती हैं। जॉब कॉस्टिंग, जॉब कॉस्टिंग जनरली होता है जहां पे आप कस्टमर ऑर्डर के हिसाब से मैन्युफैक्चर करते हो। ठीक है, सो हर एक कस्टमर ऑर्डर आपके लिए एक अलग कॉस्ट ऑब्जेक्ट है, हर एक जॉब आपका एक अलग कॉस्ट ऑब्जेक्ट है। सो आप हर जॉब की अलग कॉस्टिंग करते हो। कोई आपसे 4 चीजें बनवा रहा है, कोई आपसे 10 चीजें बनवा रहा है, तो जॉब ए में कॉस्टिंग पर जॉब होगी जिसमें वो आपसे 4 चीजें बनवा रहा है। जॉब 2 में वो आपसे 10 चीजें बनवा रहा है, तो वो जॉब 2 एक आपकी अलग जॉब है। कॉस्ट ऑफ दैट जॉब 2 इज सेपरेट, उसकी कॉस्टिंग अलग होगी। सो जॉब कॉस्टिंग जहां पे आप कस्टमर ऑर्डर के हिसाब से मैन्युफैक्चर करते हो, स्टैंडर्डाइज प्रोडक्शन नहीं है। कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कॉस्टिंग कंस्ट्रक्शन में यूज होता है। आप बिल्डिंग कंस्ट्रक्ट कर रहे हो, रोड कंस्ट्रक्ट कर रहे हो, सो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कॉस्टिंग वेयर यू मेक द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, कॉस्टिंग पर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के हिसाब से होती है। सो आई एम अ कॉन्ट्रैक्टर, आई हैव 3 कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स। रोड बनाने का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है, बिल्डिंग बनाने का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है, और फ्लाईओवर बनाने का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है। सो एवरी 3 कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स आर डिफरेंट कॉस्ट ऑब्जेक्ट्स। ठीक है, रोड की अलग कॉस्टिंग बनेगी, उसके अकाउंट अलग बनेगा, फ्लाईओवर का कॉस्टिंग अलग बनेगी, और बिल्डिंग का अकाउंट अलग बनेगा। सो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कॉस्टिंग तो ये कंस्ट्रक्शन में यूज होता है। प्रोसेस कॉस्टिंग, जब जो भी आप प्रोडक्ट बना रहे हो, लेट अस से आप शुगर बना रहे हो, तो शुगर को बनाने के लिए एक प्रोसेस नहीं है। शुगर को बनाने के लिए शुगर केन से स्टार्ट होता है, फिर मोलासिस बनता है, तो वो डिफरेंट प्रोसेसेस के थ्रू पास होता है, तब जाके शुगर बनता है ना। ऐसे ही पेपर अगर आप बनाओगे, तो पहले पल्प बनता है वुड से, फिर उसका पेपर बनता है। तो डिफरेंट प्रोसेसेस होते हैं। तो जब भी आप एक प्रोडक्ट को बनाने के लिए डिफरेंट प्रोसेसेस या डिफरेंट ऑपरेशन से गुजरना पड़ता है, वहां उस इंडस्ट्री में, उस कंपनी में प्रोसेस कॉस्टिंग फॉलो होती है। हर प्रोसेस की कॉस्टिंग अलग होती है। लेट अस से प्रोसेस 1, प्रोसेस 2, प्रोसेस 3, तीनों प्रोसेसेस की अलग अलग कॉस्टिंग होगी, उनके अलग अकाउंट्स बनेंगे, उनका अलग जो मैनेजर होगा वो रिस्पॉन्सिबल होगा। क्लियर। ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्टिंग सर्विस इंडस्ट्री में होता है, ट्रांसपोर्ट इंडस्ट्री में, हॉस्पिटल में, होटल में, जहां जहां सर्विसेज दी जाती हैं वहां पे ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्टिंग लगती है। पर पैसेंजर यूनिट होगा, कॉस्ट करोगे आप, पर पेशेंट क्या कॉस्ट है, पर बेड क्या कॉस्ट है, पर रूम का, जो अब रूम जब आप होटल में जाते हो, पर रूम का क्या रेट है, 2,000 3,000, वो कैसे आया, उसकी कॉस्टिंग होती है। सो होटल इंडस्ट्री में पर रूम का होता है टैरिफ कितना है, पर बेड कितना है, पर पेशेंट कितना है, पर पैसेंजर कितना है, पर किलोमीटर कितना है। सो ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्टिंग सर्विस इंडस्ट्री में यूज होती है। ठीक है। मल्टीपल कॉस्टिंग, जहां पे आप लेट अस से कार बना रहे हो, आप कार में आप उसके साथ साथ कार के कुछ कंपोनेंट भी बना रहे हो, तो कंपोनेंट तो एक साथ सारे बनेंगे। सो कंपोनेंट के लिए आप बैच कॉस्टिंग यूज करोगे, और कार के लिए आप सिंगल कॉस्टिंग यूज करोगे। ठीक है। सो कंपोनेंट की कॉस्टिंग बैच कॉस्टिंग के हिसाब से होगी, वो कंपोनेंट कार में लगेगा, तो कार की कॉस्टिंग तो पर यूनिट के हिसाब से होगी, सिंगल कॉस्टिंग होगी। सो कई बार आप जब खुद ही कंपोनेंट्स भी मैन्युफैक्चर करते हो, या बहुत सारी आप 2-3 तरह की चीजें मैन्युफैक्चर करते हो, तो वहां मल्टीपल कॉस्टिंग भी यूज होती है। ऑल राइट। सो दीज आर द मेथड्स ऑफ कॉस्टिंग विच वी हैव अंडरस्टूड. So these are the examples which this PPT will be shared, and you can just go through. So there are some techniques of costing. Again, uniform costing. Technique of costing है यूनिफॉर्म कॉस्टिंग, मीन्स व्हेन ऑल द फर्म्स इन द सेम इंडस्ट्री फॉलो सेम कॉस्टिंग। क्लियर। उनके कोड सेम होते हैं, उनके प्रोसेसेस सेम होते हैं, दे फॉलो द सेम सिस्टम, सो दैट कंपैरिजन कैन बी इजी। आप एक फर्म दूसरी फर्म से कैसे कंपेयर करेगी, उनका सिस्टम सेम होना चाहिए, कोडिंग सेम होनी चाहिए, प्रोसेसेस सेम होनी चाहिए। सो वहां पे यूनिफॉर्म कॉस्टिंग होती है। when you have so many firms in one industry, it's better to have a uniform costing. सबका जो कॉस्टिंग सिस्टम है वो सेम इंस्टॉल होना चाहिए, तभी आप सेम प्रोसेस कर पाओगे, सेम रिपोर्ट्स जनरेट होंगी, सेम स्टेटमेंट्स बनेंगी, सो यू कैन कंपेयर विद ईच अदर। क्लियर। मार्जिनल कॉस्टिंग, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, मार्जिनल कॉस्टिंग इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज एडिशनल कॉस्टिंग, वेरिएबल कॉस्टिंग. So marginal costing is also a concept of cost, and it is also a technique of costing. We have a full unit on marginal costing. So it is the change in the output due to increase or decrease in the volume of output by 1 unit. Clear? 1 यूनिट इंक्रीज करो क्या चेंज होगा, 1 यूनिट डिक्रीज करो आउटपुट का क्या चेंज होगा, दैट इज मार्जिनल कॉस्टिंग. Standard costing. See, standard costing is coming again and again. So standard costing is a very major indicator for cost control, and it is a technique of costing also. Standard costing mein again, the standards are set as per technical analysis. The actual is measured, then it is compared with the standard, and then deviations are reported. Clear? So standard costing, again, we are going to do in detail. Marginal and standard, they are very important units in cost and management accounting, which we'll be doing as a separate module. So it's a different technique of costing where standards are set. Historical costing. Historical costing, they have incurred. Production हो चुका है, उसके बाद we are doing the costing, the computation of cost. Clear? So generally historical costing is compared with the standard costing. So historical costing is when the production is done or during when the production is going on. Process 1 हो गया, we are doing the costing. फिर process 2 हुआ. So simultaneously and continuously we are calculating the cost after the production process or during the production process, not before. When the costing is done before, it becomes standard. When it is done after or during, it becomes historical. Clear? Absorption costing. Absorption is just the opposite of marginal. Absorption में we take total cost, fixed and variable both. Marginal में we take only variable. In marginal, variable cost is more relevant. In absorption, we take total cost as the relevant cost. All right. So again, we'll be understanding with respect to absorption, marginal, all these techniques of costing we will be doing in detail. So these are the exercises, students, which you can, go through. So I'll just quickly take the queries. High-low method. See, high-low method is basically for, we have to now segregate semi-variable into, fixed and variable. There is no accurate method. How would we know how much is variable, how much is fixed? We need to have some analysis, a technical estimate. So the highest and the lowest we take. एक तरह से एवरेज हो जाता है ना. अब कौन सी मंथ का हम सेल्स लें, कौन सी मंथ का हम बोले, कैसे डिसाइड करेंगे? सो हम हाईएस्ट ले लेते हैं और लोएस्ट ले लेते हैं, वो एक तरह से एवरेज हो जाता है. क्लियर? सो किसी भी चीज का अगर आपको एग्जैक्ट नहीं पता होता, आप उसका एवरेज ले लेते हो. सो हाईएस्ट एंड लोएस्ट का मतलब भी वही है, दैट वी ट्राई टू मेक इट एवरेज. सो दैट्स द कंसेप्ट ऑफ हाई एंड लो मेथड दैट वी टेक. ओके, you can do MCQs from RTPs and everything that has been given. Marginal and differential cost. See, marginal cost is when there's a change in the total cost by if you change 1 unit of output. Differential cost is the change in the total cost due to other reasons, due to change in technology, due to change in the method of production, due to other various reasons. Then when there is a change in total cost, that is differential cost. Marginal cost is totally different. Marginal cost is change in the total cost if we change in the level of output by 1 unit. Whether we increase by 1 unit or we decrease by 1 unit. Not due to technology or method of change. Clear? So it's totally different. If there is no cash outflow, of course, but imputed cost, it's a type of cost. Of course, we don't do any recording of imputed cost, but it is a cost. I mean, I'm giving my time, I'm giving my land, I'm giving my money to the business. It carries a cost to the owner, not to the business, but to the owner. So it is a type of cost. We don't record it, but that doesn't mean that it's not a cost. Notional cost, opportunity cost is a very strong concept. We don't record it. But again, they are a part of very important cost. If you have to consider, if you are learning all the types of cost, it's also one of the very important costs for the owner. May not be for the business, but for the owner it is. All right. Single costing system means you are producing, standardized goods. बाइसाइकिल ही एक तरह की बाइसाइकिल आप बना रहे हो, सिंगल कॉस्टिंग करो. पर बाइसाइकिल आपकी जो कॉस्ट रहेगी वो हमेशा सेम रहेगी. अब आपकी 2000 की रुपए की बाइसाइकिल है, so every time the cost of the bicycle is 2000 only. So single costing will do. Clear? where you make the similar kind of standardized output every time. Every unit is similar to the other unit. Single costing. Absorption costing. Example of absorption costing is total cost. Where I am, let us say the total cost of a product is 1,000. It includes total, variable, both, every type of cost, 1,000. But in marginal costing, you will say how much is the variable portion in the cost. 1,000 में लेट अस से 500, 1,000 में 400 रुपए तो मुझे हर बार देने हैं, वो रेंट है. So my variable cost is 600. In marginal costing, 600 is more relevant. But in absorption costing, full 1,000 is relevant. So absorption costing focuses on total cost. Marginal costing focuses on variable cost. Clear? We will be doing it in detail. Yes, I told you imputed cost, implicit cost, notional cost are all the same. Analytical method is the subjective method. We analyze, the research experts, the experts analyze on the basis of past experience. They don't use any technical method or scientific method or equation method. No, they will give their own subjective view. All right. Based on the past experience and technical estimates, they will study and give their analytical views that, okay, this should be variable and this should be. So that could be an estimate, not on the basis of any equation or method. All right. So here we are closing the session, the first session. So I hope you have got an idea of the various concepts and terms and methods and techniques, what we will be doing. So whatever has been discussed in this session, you will come across everything in the, future sessions, which we'll be doing in the following sessions of the actual, when we'll be starting the module, starting with materials. So everything will be used and everything we will be understanding in detail. This session is giving you an overview of what all you are going to study in the following modules and as a part of your cost and management accounting. So signing off from here, this is CA Vibhavadhavan. I'll be meeting you in the next sessions on material. So till then, happy studying and happy learning. All right. Thank you, students. All the best.